thought that was soup. No, hoop for you. Basically what the Mexico State basketball team's been told. And New Mexico, same thing. New Mexico State ran the route. They tried everything they can, evidently. And in the end, yesterday, we're told what everybody's being told. No go. What's good, y'all? Merry Wednesday. It's the opening drive. We're on your ProView networks. You can watch the show on ProViewNetworks.com. Comcast Channel 26 on our Facebook page. And, of course, listen on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal. Jeff Siembieda, J. Buck, Mike is producing at Radio Ranch. Jay Pohl and Alden back downtown producing for your
How's it going?
What's good, you guys?
Not much.
How you guys doing today? Let's get it.
We got audio. We got audio.
Yeah. First I thought that was something coming from my ears on some website, JJ. And then I saw you guys lips moving.
Yep, we got audio.
Oh boy. Yeah, good. It's a super big echo, though, eh?
It's a start.
It's a good start. It's a good start. What's up? You guys good?
What it do, gentlemen? Good morning.
Yeah, buddy.
How come I don't see Mike today? Get your laptop? Didn't fit on your backpack?
My computer takes a little while to boot up, so I'm about to sign in right now.
What if you got there a little earlier? It's really easy. It's pretty easy to say when I have to walk downstairs.
I don't know what happens with it, but it takes like almost good 30 minutes for it to boot up and for me to be able to do stuff on it. I don't understand.
You'd expect to hear that out of me. All right. We got a lot to do today. First and foremost, before we get started, happy Veterans Day. To all of you who have put yourself on the line, volunteered to be in our armed forces, put on that uniform and served our country in whatever manner it is that you have served our country. A sincere thank you, gratitude for what you've done, what you do, what you go through, what you went through, what you've sacrificed. Our country is great, and it's great in large part because of what all of our veterans have done to defend our freedoms. And I'm going to assume I echo what all of us are feeling on Veterans Day, and not just on Veterans Day, but every day, but certainly a day that we can take a step back and acknowledge the sacrifices and the contributions and the service of all of our veterans. So happy Veterans Day, and thank you very much.
Absolutely. Just agree with that sentiment.
Yeah. I know. I feel free. I didn't mean to cut you off, Bob. Okay. I don't know how, where, when basketball teams, college basketball teams from this state are going to play. New Mexico State ran the gamut of emotions yesterday. Their regents passed unanimously 5-0. A motion that would allow their men's and women's basketball teams to participate in competition. And then the governor's office said, no, they're surging down there. You will not play. I don't know where Mario's going to get the money. I don't know where it's going to come from. Maybe it's going to be private. Obviously, New Mexico State's going to have to go out of state. Feels like New Mexico's going to have to probably do the same. I don't know how closely you watched the up and down yesterday, the yo-yo effect that they went through. But they have the longest drought, does New Mexico State, of any team in regards to practice. They haven't been able to practice. Just your thoughts as you watch the reports coming out of Cruces, out of Santa Fe, that whole thing going down yesterday, what you thought.
Absolutely not surprised with the decision from the state, but it's, we're seeing both institutions, in this case, UNM and NMSU, sign off, approve plans that have safety involved. That's first and foremost in the minds of allowing their student athletes to participate. And it's not a surprise. So it's the next step is, do you have the money and where can you go? If you want to play college basketball this season, it's not happening in the state of New Mexico.
Yeah, I don't see how it is. Stephanie Rodriguez, who's the acting secretary for higher education of the state, said, quote, asking the state of New Mexico to make special accommodations for intercollegiate sports is a recipe for an outbreak and large-scale rapid response efforts in the event of COVID positive case. That was her quote. We've gone over this a lot, quite a bit. And New Mexico State's plan was a bubble plan, was living in student housing, which has been vacated, which is bubbling. I mean, I think at this point we all understand what that means, what that controlled environment means. I appreciate, and I know you do too, the extremity of what's going on, the seriousness, the nature of what's happening, not just in our state with the increase in cases, but globally. And New Mexico State had a plan, as does New Mexico, that I think we all feel would put those student athletes in a safer environment. We've talked about this since the summer. We're talking about college football teams going back to camps. Are student athletes safer in a bubble, in a controlled environment with multiple, with a lot of restrictions, as opposed to just going out and being college kids? And I think we all, as commonsensical adults, believe that they would be safer. And this does not introduce risk. In fact, I think it minimizes risk. I'm not going to tell you eliminates risk. I don't think that's right. But they would be doing exactly what you're being asked to do. Stay at home. Wear a mask. Don't do. Now, the only thing they wouldn't be doing is they would be congregating in groups larger than 5. But they would be emphasizing and doing in a strict environment everything that is being asked, right? It almost feels like you would be helping. This and maybe I'm looking at it obviously from a different place, but you would be helping because they would be doing to extremities what you're asking society to do. Now the difference is they'd be gathering in groups higher than 5 to practice. There would be contact, and they'd be traveling to compete, right? And obviously the state said no.
Yeah, you're right. You can't say there's not risk because look at SEC football this weekend.
Right.
But the part of it that stands out is the constant testing and monitoring. And do you get that if you're not playing sport? And then you just become another person that is not taking it seriously. It's easy to say, hey, quarantine, we're tracking these guys, whatever. But you know what you can do? You can leave your phone somewhere and bounce. And unfortunately, that it's going to get to a certain point with these student athletes, just like everyone else. It's the COVID fatigue. And if there's not something to strive for, they don't have something in place. Really, how much are these universities going to continue to invest in testing if they're not playing the game? And I think that's a big difference too with what Lobo football has been able to do. Yeah, they uprooted everything to Las Vegas, but the Mountain West is also testing 3 times a week. It's a challenge, for New Mexico State, but they were willing to move forward with that challenge. And as I've said, a blanket approach to this doesn't make sense to me when you have areas that can do things different. In this case, the constant testing and quarantining of a college basketball team.
Yeah, there is a document of which I'm fairly familiar, and I've looked at it obviously a number of times. It's protocol. It's not exactly what it's called for intercollegiate sports in the state, COVID safe practices, and I don't know how New Mexico State's going to do this. JJ, the Lobos football team, to your point, is housed in Vegas. They're basic out of there. They figure it's going to cost $250,000 to $280,000, which is a lot of money for a cash-strapped university. But to your point, financially, and I'm looking at straight through the financial silo for now, it makes sense because you're going to get roughly $4.2 million between your television and your CFP money, and so it makes sense for you financially. You can do that. Now it makes sense for them also on all the other fronts because the student athletes get to play. They've got their opportunity. I imagine it would make a little sense for basketball too. I haven't seen the numbers on what it would cost to house your basketball team, which is much less in numbers, but your television contract is less. But I'm going to assume it's similar. For New Mexico State, I don't know that it does. I don't know the WAC television money if there is any. I mean, most of their television, JJ, is their home games on Aggie Vision, what they're able to sell and recoup there. I don't know where the money's going to come from for New Mexico State to be able to go out and do something like this. I think they're in a really, really, really tough position.
Yeah, and what you're looking at is a long game. If everyone in college basketball, keeping their fingers crossed, hoping to get to March, having an NCAA tournament, having that revenue stream back for the sport and universities. So it's getting to that point, right? So, but you got to start somewhere to get there, and the state of New Mexico is not starting.
Yeah, so I don't know, what do you do? Aggie fan, I'd love to hear from you. And Lobo fan, you're not in the clear. Yesterday was their day, but you're coming up on this too. You're in the same boat, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. And I don't know that you're going to see a game of the Pit this year. Well, okay, how about this? I know you're not going to see in person a game of the Pit this year. Are there going to be games in the Pit this year? Where do you go? Do they go to Vegas? Like where do the Aggies go? El Paso's spiking more than Doña Ana County. By the way, the number that I saw to fall under the gating criteria is, where did I just put it? It was like you have to, 14-day rolling average of cases has to be south of 8 in 100,000, and they're at like 57 in Doña Ana County. I mean, and that's from October, and it's only been going up since. Like they're not falling within the gating criteria anytime soon. One of the regions I saw quoted saying, "I'm not really big on going El Paso." That concerns me because the numbers in El Paso are so big.
UTEP's
so where do you go?
El Paso.
What's that? UTEP's not? Where are
Their
they?
football team is going to move to Midland to play games.
No. I mean, so is that what you do? And use a junior college there? Do you go to Tucson? Do you go to Yuma? Oh, well, Yuma's on the California border. Like, where are you going? UNM got really lucky with football because they found a vacant college-ready stadium to play, and Eddie and Desiree, their athletic director there, have a good working relationship. But this is a puzzle that they got to figure out, and I'd love to hear your conversation on it. 505-246-0610 is how to get in today. 888-922-0610. Emails will come in, jeff@610knml.com, jj@610knml.com. On the Twitter, it's _JJBuck. On the Facebook, the OD in the AM. We'll get into some NFL stuff, a lot of COVID stuff, NBA news, college basketball. There's even some baseball stuff as well with the Masters starting tomorrow. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Titus and Tate break down all.
Ramos, rise and fire. He's fouled.
You know, he used to coach for Del Norte. And
Here's Voss all the way with the finish. He'll get the. Behind the back of the dribble. Tries to go up with the right hand. He changed hands in midair. And hot it. Sent it away. Wynn doing a really good job denying Chavez. DC hasn't got the ball. Oh, Yeku. Oh. Working against Watson. Oh, look at the spin move.
Ball's loose. DJ Bustos brings it up. Barnes Tompkins, alley-oop. How about it? That was redunculous.
Turnover. Cable to the big fella might try to jam on home.
I'll just get a little closer.
Oh, instead it's a gorgeous pass.
Here's what he'll
just shoot it.
He's going to go all the way.
He's gonna fire at the buzzer and he hits.
Great pass, Hadbury, and thank you very much. Tie in the district. Inside, fly, Eagles.
Chavez uses some athleticism. And then Morris down low, able to finish. You called it, Steve, in 10 seconds. And look at this, stripped, stolen Watson. Christian Lucero beats the buzzer. Here's Ian Chavez, the sharpshooter. Got it.
Couldn't have said that any better. He answered the question. He
On
got
a
another
steal
one.
at the buzzer. Back to back for Chavez.
To the paint. Medina from the volleyball lines. Medina wants another one from deep. Oh, he wants 10. Give him 10.
Last night, you get a little action? Flip through 3 different MAC games, JJ.
Slow starts, but big finishes.
I couldn't even tie. Didn't get to the finish. Who won last night? Don't be
Buffalo.
like that. I had Buffalo. Yeah, I saw
Ohio.
Buffalo win. Ooh.
And Kent State.
The cream rose to the top, the favorites in the MAC last night. Right, Buffalo at home beat Miami of Ohio. I watched a little of the other two. You get Central Michigan tonight if you want that, and then we'll get into Thursday Night Football. Masters starts tomorrow. Taking your thoughts on New Mexico State and their efforts, their Board of Regents approving their plan to go play basketball. They practice, and the state. By the way, these were not worded softly. By the way, as far as the responses from the governor's office, this was, you're not doing this, and the spokesperson from New Mexico State said last night, we are not going to fly in the face of any regulations and break the law. We had to follow the steps. The board approved our plan in accordance to any state health orders. The university's intention was to go to the Department of Health and see if we could get any elasticity to the rules. And we, at that point, still had not heard back. Well, they've heard back. So where do you go? By the way, college basketball season is slated to begin in 2 weeks from today, on the 25th. Now, are there games? Have you seen schedule for games? Have you seen anything?
I saw Wyoming put out a schedule yesterday.
When do they start?
Rare ones that I've seen. It's a 7-game non-conference schedule. Other than that, there are still plenty of questions for a lot of teams. And yes, the teams here in the state of New Mexico as well.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see, because we haven't seen a schedule yet. All right. Elsewhere, NFL playoff. They've got a contingency plan, JJ. They realize, and look, COVID, this is everything we were warned about COVID, correct? That we were going to hit the fall, colder weather was going to come, COVID was going to be a thing, man. It was going to be a bigger deal, and here we are. And you've seen 52 positive tests between players and staff in the NFL the week of November 1st through 7th. You've got big names on the COVID list: Ben Roethlisberger, Baker Mayfield. You've got games that are in jeopardy. We haven't had a game canceled yet. You've had games move. So the NFL, on a contingency plan, put out a contingency. If they don't get all their games in, they'll expand the playoffs by one team in each conference. I guess that's fine. I mean, what else are they going to do? I'm surprised that they're having a contingency plan halfway through the season, but Roger Goodell said our plan is to go through on schedule, man. We're marching through. We're marching through. I think that might be a little blind, and I got to be honest with you, JJ. I'm not just stunned. I'm borderline amazed that they've gotten to this point and not lost a game. They've postponed games, but they haven't lost a game. I can't foresee that they're going to get all the way through the season and not lose a game. Can you?
Well, they're policies aren't as strict as what we're seeing in college.
Understood.
So that's
Understood.
a big reason why they have been able to advance, because when there's a positive test, you're not playing a college football game. That's pretty much what we're seeing, because of contact tracing and then players not being available. We really haven't seen it to that level in the NFL. So I think that's why they've been able to manage, if they need to move a game, play a Monday night doubleheader, throw in an earlier bye week. They've done a good job staying healthy, managing these situations, and this was just that next step in saying, all right, the plan so far is going well, but the what if? If you start losing some games, you run out of time. It makes sense to have a scenario like this on the table.
Yeah, and that's what they went and did. And so, whatever. Does that mean that the 1 seed will not get a bye? Is that the format that I look at? If there's 8 teams, is that how that will be? Because you have to at some point whittle it down to multiple of 4, right? And so if you give the top 2 teams a bye, you place. I guess you can go back to the top 2 teams, right? Play 3 versus 8, 4 versus 7, 5, and 6. But then you'll only have 3 teams coming out. You'll have 5 teams left, so it doesn't work that way. So have you seen a format on it, a proposed format? Because I've not.
No, just 16-team playoff field.
Yeah, so whatever that's going to mean. Okay. Yeah, that's probably, I think that might eliminate the bye. All right, Ben Roethlisberger still in COVID. Baker Mayfield on the reserve list. Baker Mayfield still on the COVID reserve list. You've got games coming up. The undefeated Steelers play the Bengals this weekend. And I got to believe that well, I think Baker gets off or is eligible to come off. These are both contact, right? These are both contact tracing COVID reserve lists. They had close contact with people who tested positive. They have not tested positive, so they're in their mandatory quarantine. Baker comes off midweek, I believe, and Roethlisberger is like a game day thing, isn't it?
Roethlisberger is the same thing we saw with Matthew Stafford last week.
Okay, so it could be Saturday. So Matthew Stafford didn't practice. How'd that go for him last week? I mean, it's tough, right? There's a reason these guys practice all week, right? There's a reason that everybody goes to practice. So,
but I think it's ultimately if you're Ben Roethlisberger, you're not doing much anyway at that point in time. So
you kind of got to figure it out.
It's like a de facto bye week for your body, and get out there and be all right against the Bengals defense. That's not great.
Yeah. Yeah, I got you. All right, Alabama, LSU, postponed. They're calling it postponed instead of canceled because they've got a makeup date. They can make games up in the SEC on December 19th. December 19th is the day that they're going to play a conference championship game. So anybody who's not involved in the conference championship can make up games that day. I think Alabama's going to be the conference championship game, don't you? So that game's probably lost. Texas A&M, Tennessee postponed. They might be able to make that game up on that day. Cal, Arizona State, Pac-12. They had 2 games canceled in the Pac-12 on their opening weekend. There's contact tracing situation there. On the Cal roster, they've got several players on Cal's roster in quarantine. 1 positive case. It would be the 2nd straight cancellation for Cal. Last week, their game against Washington was called off. There was optimism this week that they'd be able to play. The city of Berkeley's Public Health Division was going to release numbers from the team and the quarantine and contact tracing and further inspection of their practice protocols there in Berkeley. But last night, a spokesperson for the city issued a statement saying that will happen. The statement from Berkeley, the university was made aware last week of the timeline for when the case will end for their isolation period and for when their contacts will end their quarantine. The team should use that information as a timeline. Basically, it looks like Cal's getting shut down too. So, JJ, my point on this is, I'm not looking to belabor the COVID stuff, but it's coming back to the top of the list on a daily basis. And it's bubbling, and we're watching more each week, more and more cases. Each day it feels like more and more cases. College football is getting affected in a major way. And here we are, you're telling me we're going to start an NBA season in 5 weeks. And these guys are going to run around the country too. And I don't know. I don't know where this is going. On one hand, I tell you, I think there's ways to do it safely, and I think there's ways to bubble, and then we're seeing this happen all around the country. I do believe the student athletes are in a safer environment than the general public because they're in a structured environment, because they're getting tested, because they're in a relative bubble. But what I think it shows you is there's no absoluteness.
Well, it also shows you there's, even when you think you're in the safest position, it still can happen, which is why we talk so much about personal responsibility and thinking about other people, because you don't think these student athletes in these situations aren't doing the best they can, and we're still seeing it pop up. I'm not as concerned with the NBA season, the NFL season. Are things going to happen? Yes, but you also don't have as dramatic of contact tracing and roster limit issues like we see in college football. You know, that's the reason why those games were postponed last week in the Pac-12, because of contact tracing, not because 29 players had it. It's because a percentage of players says it's positive, and then the rest of their position group was shut down.
They've been around them. Yeah, they've been around them. That's absolutely right. All right, 505-246-0610. Love to hear from you this morning, as every morning. Emails, jeff@610knml.com, jj@610knml.com. We talked about this a few weeks ago. One of the most successful coaches in college basketball, but how? Not much longer. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Cold weather is here.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network. Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms, and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rollins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Let's see if Melfi can cash it in. He's got some protection. Deep ball. Erickson's open. Touchdown, Monarchs.
Second and 10. Smith looking, and he's going to fire over the middle, and he's got his guy. It's another big play. Walking away for a touchdown, Tristan Altier.
Going to hand it off to Chavez. Chavez breaking tackles. Look out. Chavez up the sideline. Stays in bounds. Touchdown. Volcanovic.
That replay, I got you. Measurement. I mean, Smith's got a fire on first down, and he's on the outside. There's a lot of room for Brad Thomas. A move, and he's set free. Dance into the end zone. Touchdown. So it goes.
He'll run with it. Stumbling. Gets down into the end zone. And looking to throw it. And he throws it in the end zone. Caught!
First and 10 from the 11. And spin move for Smith. Push the B button. Dance into the end zone.
stepping up. Pavia now running around. Being chased, looks across, throws it up, man's wide open. Ball is caught, touchdown. Siembieda. Dropping, looking, stepping up. He's going to run. He's got a lot of green in front of him. To the end zone. Touchdown. Rio Rancho, Isaiah Chavez. Chavez set. He's going to run with it again and dives and...
It's Austin Smith, and to the outside, a lot of room. Look out. A foot race down the sideline. All the way on the first play from scrimmage, Chris. That's a touchdown.
Scrambling. And off, great hit. He bounces off outside. Got some daylight at the 20, the 10, the 5. What an incredible run.
Call it as Javi's looking, and he's got a guy wide open, and it's Gay, and he's gonna walk into the end zone.
10,865 new cases of COVID in El Paso yesterday. 10,865, more than most states, and they have it in El Paso. Wow. Man, that's what's going on. It's the opening drive. Jeff, JJ, and Micah. 505-246-0610, 888-922-0610. Love to have you get in today. We'll get you some emails coming up in a little bit. You're talking about scheduling in college basketball and who's going to be around and what's going to happen. It looks like, JJ, by all accounts now, Greg Marshall is going to be out at Wichita State. We talked about Greg Marshall and the success, and in a lot of respects, I think people here have looked at Greg Marshall and Wichita State with a lot of envy over the last couple of years. They have gone to the Final Four. He's been the most successful coach in the history of that program. He has had he put Wichita State on the map, right? But he also has been accused of all kinds of physical and emotional assault. There was an investigation, multiple witnesses, physically assaulting a former player. He spoke on the record and described the altercation as a punch, did Marshall, but looks like Greg Marshall's going to be out. I can't tell you I'm surprised. I guess I'm a little surprised that as it bubbled down, or at least it bubbled down nationally, I'm going to guess it didn't bubble down in Wichita, that we heard less about it. It kind of was out of mind, and I figured if it was going to happen, it was going to happen. I didn't think it would happen 2 weeks before the season started. But even though Marshall has denied the majority of the allegations, he wrote a letter to the Wichita newspaper unequivocally stating that he's never physically struck a player or a colleague, and claiming that they're false. He's out, or it looks like he's going to be out.
There was a lot going on behind the scenes, of course, in this situation. If you're Wichita State, figure it out, look around. All right, what do we know? What have we heard? You know, there were still a ton of people in Greg Marshall's corner throughout this. Still, people in decision-making positions, the boosters, etc. And it's a story that, when it first came out, you see the allegations, and then you take a step back and go, okay, this is more than just one person coming out railing against Greg Marshall. There was a lot of reporting, a lot of conversations from former players to former assistants in this story. And so you take that into account, or it's not just one disgruntled person throwing stuff at Greg Marshall. And then you start running down, okay, if this was going on, was that just a part of their culture, and it was he's just a tough coach, if you can't take it, move on? What line was crossed, and where is that line? And that was then on Wichita State to figure out, look into it themselves, and see what kind of information they found out.
Yeah, I think that's all right. I think that's all right. I think the timing on it is I don't know, odd, but you do it when you do it. Makes me think big picture. It makes me think. I mean, like, it's got to be tough to be a college basketball coach in today's day and age. And I look at different personalities, right? I look at whether it's Paul Weir or Greg Marshall or Chris Jans or Mike Krzyzewski. It almost feels like, Craig Neal. There's allegations because in today's instant gratification, I'm not telling you be physically assaulting players, but everybody can't play, right? Every player comes in highly touted and everybody wants to be a star. And in today's transfer portal, where 4.5 players per team per year are leaving and going somewhere else, that means there's a lot of unhappy players, a lot of unhappy people, a lot of unhappy parents, and allegations fly. It just made me think bigger picture. To your point on Greg Marshall, you can't do that. The Bobby Knight days are over. You can't do the things that it feels like this investigation has proven that he did, right? They had a pretty thorough investigation, talked to a lot of players, and this is where they ended up. There were a lot of players that were interviewed, current players, former players that were interviewed, and they went into this whole thing, and it seems like a lot of players were willing to do that. He was punished, and again, this is a program. This had to be tough because I'm going to guess that there's still in Wichita, and I don't know anybody in Wichita, but I'm going to guess there's still a lot of people who are holding on are on the Greg Marshall train.
Of course.
Why, JJ? Why? Because they win.
Winning.
Yeah. And I sit around and think here, like, if this was Lobo basketball, would you take this? Would you run to the Final Four? And 3 years later, you're going through this, and I'm going to tell you 8 out of 10 Lobo basketball fans will go, hell yes, I would.
On the back end, most fans would, but then if you just think about it from the perspective of going through that, and this is something too, it's not that hard coaching still exists. Like, this isn't just, a tough guy and the players can take it. If you start reading the allegations and getting physical with your players and things like that, like, players of this era can still take being coached. Like, go to practices, go around. I think plenty of people still understand that. But it's one thing that the coaches that we do see get in trouble, it's more than just, they might have used some curse words or pushed you hard in practice. Like, there's things that you look at and you go, that's not coaching. Like, how is that making someone better? How is that making them better on and off the court? And because I think what's interesting too, when you start talking about this dynamic, have things change? Absolutely. Relationships, the transfer portal, but you also got to think about it too. There's times you sell like a false bill of goods. Like, everyone loves to talk a big game. Like, they built this great relationship with this student athlete. They just love them. But there's also a sense of you're selling the best of you and your university to get a talented person to come. And then real life hits. And then you're seeing what it's like on a day-to-day basis in practice at a university. A lot of these, 17, 18-year-olds away from home for the first time. And so I think that's where you're seeing a lot of that stuff happen as well when it comes to the transfer portal and players transferring. But it's not just a situation of players these days can't take being coached hard.
So you're selling a bill of goods, and I think the players are too. Right, it's a job interview, dude. Everybody's on their best behavior, and you're. It's like watching your Facebook page. Is that your life? No, everybody's all happy and shiny, and it's great on your social media. And then what's going on behind the scenes, right? I think they're both. Now, should the adult be more responsible in the room? Yeah, and I think when a coach is recruiting a player and making promises or whatever, I think they're well intended, and then the next guy comes in, oh wait, he's better, he beat you out. So I would hope that no coaches are selling assurances, right? I would hope they're selling opportunity as opposed to promises and assurances, and the student athletes are selling themselves, oh yeah, coach, I'm going to come in and work hard, and I'm going to go to school, and I'm going to do the right thing, and then so I think they're both guilty of selling a bill of goods. When you say players today can take hard coaching, I think some can take some, or at least most can take some. What does hard coaching mean? And I think the issue isn't always in hard coaching and cussing. I've been around a lot of teams. I know you have too. Foul language happens. That's kind of, you accept that, right? I think you just have to accept that. I just think when it comes down to a guy who thinks he's beat out another player and he's not getting time, and why it's hard for a player to accept that he's not as good as that guy who's in front of him. That's where relationships sour, and then everything's heard in a different manner. Does that make sense? I mean, I think players can accept coaching to some extent. It really depends on how they've been coached coming up.
Yeah, I think a great example of it right now is what we're seeing with Danny Gonzalez. He's someone that's not just to his players, but publicly acknowledged, yeah, I've called guys soft. I've questioned them, and that is something as a football player that could sour you instantly. And then we see someone like Tabaka Tuioti that rose to the challenge. So I think there's definitely ways of presenting that, ways of making it known what the expectation is, how hard you're going to be pushed as a player, which is a fine conversation. And then you get to the Greg Marshall stuff, which is just, you run it down, a physical altercation with a player, belittling, all this stuff, and you're like, okay, this is more than one person. It doesn't seem like just a attack, a hit piece on Greg Marshall. So what is it? And I think that's why it got to this point. When this story had dropped like a month ago, a little over a month ago, when it first came out. So if you're Wichita State, you take a step back because you obviously have a great connection, a great relationship with Greg Marshall. And then you have to look at it and say, all right, what is real in this situation? And how are we going to prove that? Because ultimately, when it comes down to it, there's, I'm sure, a lot of powerful people in that area, aka boosters, that absolutely love the dude. And then you have to balance that, getting to the facts and what's right and what you need to do.
Yeah, and what's it going to cost you? Yeah, like what are you going to lose in booster money? And who's got to evolve? Is it only the coach, right? Or do players have to evolve? And it feels like only the coaches do. Danny said yesterday, it's against everything in him to tell a quarterback to slide and get down, but he's telling his quarterbacks to get down. He's learning that because that's not the way the way it was when he was playing. All right, 505-246-0610. I don't think we're done with this conversation yet. Emails jeff@610knml.com. Or what did I say, JJ or Jeff@610knml.com, on the Twitter _JJ Buck. Harsh winter weather's here. It's coming. It's coming again. It's been here. It's beating up your car. Don't let it beat up your vehicle. Protect that big investment. Give your paint job the protection it needs. Get a visit from On the Spot Auto Detailing. On the Spot Auto Detailing comes to you and applies by hand a wax that protects your clear coat from hard water, sun damage, all the elements that are out there. It's so much better than that spray-on wax that you get at those drive-through car washes that washes away after the first rain. And I did say a visit from On the Spot Auto Detailing. They come to you wherever it is, whenever it is convenient for you. I was in the office, they're in the parking lot. They detail my car. Inside and out detailing. When you're done, you go in your car and it looks and feels and smells like the day you took it off that lot. That's a wonderful detailing feeling. Call On the Spot Auto Detailing, 505-859-2859. That's 505-859-2859. Or you can visit them, otsdetailing.com.
Get-togethers look a little
creates space. He gives it off to Rivas for the three, and he buries it.
Gonna be coming in soon. Double pick set for Avalos. Goes to the right. Avalos puts it up high. Window. Scores it as foul.
Right here by Lewis all the way, coast to coast, and finish. What a...
Around the screen, against White, step back, it's blocked! JB with the block!
In transition, ahead to hit on for the two-hand hammer.
Minutes to go, they've got a shot, they have a chance, and it's put up, and it's good! What a three that is by Jalen.
Sorry. Puts it up.
Rebound Cowboys. Right side David Hall. Thank you very much. Here come the Cowboys. Lamina Lovato lays it up. Missed it. Hey, how about it? Thank you, Luscious. Thank you very much, Raquan Mitchell. Clock at 6. They get it. Barnes Tompkins fires. Yes! Pass up court. This for the win. Blocked by DJ Bustos. Cowboys win. Cowboys win. Cross with Evans. Evans has that ball stolen. Jeremy Segura.
Forward dribble, spin cycle, up and under move. What a pass, wrap around pass.
Harris with Gates. The long bomb, 3 ball.
Oh, great steal by Quinteros, lays it up and scores.
A whole little jump step in the...
And look out, here comes Agbayosi. Crawford set. That's blocked. Lansing says, get that out of here. Sister to sister, Marianne Lansing's going to go all the way. Turnaround. Ramos, pump fake, everyone bites. Ramos hits. Jackson loses it. David Bond back, alley-oop, put it down. Dunkalicious, how about it? Dorian over. Did he get in?
Yeah, they got in. He got in.
Touchdown, Dorian Lewis.
Seconds to play. Benavides looking, still looking up the middle. It's intercepted. It's picked off by Freddie Anaya, and Roswell's season will end perfect.
Second quarter, 2nd and 4 for Socorro at the whole 44-yard line. McDaniel trying, good block by Hicks. First down and more, 30, 25, 20. McDaniel might be gone. Touchdown.
Wow. Thursday night football will come to you. Guess when? Come on Thursday night. Coverage here on These Sports Animal will start at 6 o'clock after Lobo Talk, if I'm not mistaken. Micah, is that correct? You can shake your head. I can even see you. You got to look. I think that's right.
Correct.
Look at that. Look at you all cowboyed out today. Colts and Titans is your Thursday night game. Ryan Tannehill and the 6-2 Titans. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, that's Monday night. Does Thursday night have a song? Against the Indianapolis football Colts and Phillip Rivers, who has become a meme after trying to make a tackle on a defensive touchdown last week. Poor Phillip Rivers, man.
Poor Phillip Rivers, get out of here. There's nothing poor about
poor Phillip Rivers. All right, well, he's not poor.
He's the chance. He's still a starting quarterback in the NFL on a solid football team. This should be a really good game on Thursday night. A lot of people, for the first time, realizing, hey, this Colts team is actually pretty darn good defensively. The issues are, figuring out how to be consistent offensively. And by the way, to your point, it's right. Phillip Rivers did not throw an interception on that play. It was a Jonathan Taylor fumble. But it's still hilarious at times how the most important position in sport, how unathletic those guys can look at times.
Unathletic they could look. Okay, I'll go with that. They are really athletic. And I tell you a zillion times, there's different ways to be an athlete.
As he was trying to take his angle on the Ravens defender, he started doing the ice feet.
Yeah,
like
no
when
doubt.
it's slippery or icy outside and you try to slow down.
Arms flailing.
Study your steps, and then he fell.
And then he stuck up an arm.
And then he did the turtle.
I've fallen and I can't get up.
Mario'd him just right over.
Poor Phillip Rivers. I mean, he turns over the ball a lot, by the way. He didn't turn the ball over, and he was the only guy back there. I didn't see DK Metcalf coming out of somewhere. He was the only guy back there trying to make the damn tackle. Yeah, stick up for my old man, Phil.
A4 effort.
That's right. Good job. Good effort. How do we not have that, on constant loop recording? The Miami fan. Good job. Good effort. Thank you, Phil. All right, got emails, Jeff at 610knml.com. By the way, boys and girls, if you don't know, I think this is the first week. Maybe it's the second week. I don't even know anymore. We're back on the ProView networks. Alden and Jay Pohl are up early this morning. You can even see them now. Everybody's got a camera. So while we're not all together in studio, we are all together on your screen. And you can enjoy the visual content of our program. Many ways. You can go to Comcast, if you have Comcast, Channel 26, or is it Xfinity in this market? Channel 26. You can go and watch the show every morning. You can go to our Facebook page, which is the OD in the AM, and you can find us. Oh, look at that. You guys open the mic. And what did I do wrong? We're not on our Facebook page? Is that what you're telling me?
Is there an echo?
Yeah, huge echo.
Echo.
So are we not on our Facebook page? Is that what you guys are telling me? We are, right? Somebody shake your
We're
hand.
on. Yeah, we're on.
All right. And ProViewNetworks.com. And ProViewNetworks.com. So Jay Pohl and Alden are there, so you can watch the show every morning. All right, JJ, Rod sent me an email, and we spent a lot of time this morning, and I would assume more, going to talk about the New Mexico State situation and them going to the state and looking for an exemption to the public health order. He said Jefferson, and the subject line is Nora Stiggett sends message to NMAA. Jefferson, anyone that thinks just because the NMAA came up with yet another plan to start January 4th and actually believes there's going to be high school competition on that date, I have some nice beachfront property in Socorro to give you. I guess that's coming up, I don't know if it's the next story, but that's down the line. You got all these high school athletes who have been told, wait. Next year we're going to play football in February, and we're going to have cross country and golf and volleyball and everything's. Those student athletes, I'm not going to lie to you, dude. And I know I've told this to you. My kid was in tears last night. It just got to her yesterday. The new trimester started. The reality that there's no end in sight on this. And I know she's not the only one. And they're going to drop the bomb on those kids pretty soon, wouldn't you say? That, yeah, sorry, if New Mexico State can't play and UNM can't play, high schools aren't playing anytime soon.
Yeah. It's, like you said, sometimes all you can say is, this just really sucks.
I had a lot of that last night. I had a dad moment where I'm like, well, what do I do? Because telling her that you're not the only one, and telling her that her feelings are right, and telling her that it's going to end sometime, it's getting old. As you and me, and hell, I'm a man. I'm 40, right? I mean, take it out on me. But when you're a 14-year-old kid or an 8-year-old kid, or the kids, you're not equipped. You're still trying to figure it out. I don't know, man. I'm looking for advice on that one. I'll give some, but it's we've all hit that fatigue point and that hurdle that it's harder and harder to get over, isn't it? What do you do? I got more emails for you. 505-246. We got NBA news. The Masters, JJ. Are you on Bryson DeChambeau?
Ooh, I might be.
So you gonna rip the course of Augusta apart? It's tomorrow, baby. Tiger goes at like 5-something in the morning. Oh, yeah, buddy. It's the opening drive. We're on ProView Networks and 95.9 FM at AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Touchdown for Michael McDaniel.
It's 40 seconds this year. It's not like 25 like it used to be.
He laterals it back. What a play by Hightower. Pitch.
Looked like somebody moved a little bit early. Hicks, the play fake double move. He's got his receiver wide open. Caught. One man to beat. Touchdown. Touchdown to number 17, Nathaniel.
Third and 6. Big defensive play coming up here. Little trickery to Reese. See you later. Touchdown. They went for the deep ball to Reese.
To the right, single receiver split to the left. Play fake, head up the middle, got some room. 50, 45, 40, has one man to beat. 30, 25, 10, 5, touchdown. Touchdown, Hope.
Wow.
On a
Option again, he'll keep it. Now he'll pitch it. Comes out to the 30, 25, 20, up the sideline. Still inbounds, into the end zone. Let's see.
Touchdown.
Touchdown, Portell.
The outside of running an out route.
Davis sending a play action, looking. He's going to go back to Lewis, and Lewis makes a cut, and Lewis still on his feet. Dorian Lewis is in for a touchdown. So Davison back to toss it. He's got all day. Makes one miss, and he's rolling. He's got a guy. Can he get it there? Davison to Luke Weissong.
We told you he
touchdown.
could spin that football, and that was a throw right there. I know he's got the wind in his back, but
Lovato driving. They're going to count it. Gallegos. Ooh, a little spin and a finish. Here's Natalia Chavez. Good spin. Takes a.
Here's Ramos. Nice jump stop to the.
Maybe gambling a little bit. Oh, there's a. Hill, little step, high window, and
Got the second.
the middle. Here we go. 3.9. It's Cooper's going to run with it. Cooper's going to swing it out to Lowry. Lowry. Portillo couldn't get it off, and Clovis goes in. It's waved off. He did not get it off in time. Portillo.
Reverse layup. Gallegos spins. Window. Finishes.
There's a run coming from
Lazy pass.
When you hear them,
Brooks Koepka.
it doesn't matter where you are on the golf course. You almost can tell by the roar who the player is, who or what they did, and well, it's coming from, which I think is pretty unique.
That is Brooks Koepka talking about Augusta National. It's kind of bizarre. It's November, it's football season, and the Masters will tee off tomorrow. Opening drive. Jeff Siembieda, J.J. Buck, Micah Alden, J. Pole, all here for you on a Wednesday morning. J.J., the Masters, I mean, for me, and obviously I love the golf, and I watch the golf, and I play as much as I can. It's always been kind of the start of the season, right? The start of, get your clubs out. It's usually when we start talking, whether it was Matt Malloy or Nick Nee, and we start, get out there. Now it's really kind of the end of it, right? I mean, you're kind of trying to sneak in a few rounds here when you still can. In many places, you go further north and they're tucked away for the next 4 or 5 months. This is, as you might have noticed, in 2020, things are a bit different. And so here we go. I'm kind of pumped. I envision a Sunday, JJ, of a split screen red zone. And so when they're showing me 4 games on my red zone and then a big master screen on the other side, it's going to be a small little red zone. But that's how I envision Sunday, man. I'm telling Addie, hold your homework until Sunday. Do it. If you want, let's go somewhere. We'll go Saturday. If you want to go, we'll go throw the lacrosse ball around and go on a little roadie. But Sunday, Daddy's probably going to be riding the couch. Yeah. Daddy's probably putting miles on the couch. Yeah. No, that's right. Daddy's going to put some miles on it. Yeah.
Realize Sunday, don't talk to me until about 5 o'clock.
No,
when the sun goes down on the Masters.
Talk to me all you want. I'll make a big old scramble. We'll put some eggs and I'll make some bacon and throw some turkey and cheese.
Big old hash in the morning.
Yeah,
maybe some nachos at lunch to hold you over to dinner.
Yeah, maybe not some nachos. It's not working with my diet these days. But but we'll find something. Maybe some almonds. Ooh, yeah, almonds. I'm kidding. Some lettuce.
Chocolate covered almonds.
Dude, and there is so much chocolate in this house. Okay, I just want you to know, back you up, totally off of everything. Like if I showed you the bag, I'll bring it over. The bag of Halloween candy. I bought a Costco bag, and we had 0 trick-or-treaters. So but I just figured Addie would have Halloween.
So you're the winner.
Right? Well, typically I would, but I'm not eating any. And let me just tell you, I've not had one. Yesterday, and I love the Tootsie Pops, and there's Butterfingers, and Snickers, and Twix, and Reese's. Not one, dude. I haven't eaten a piece of little like candy sugar ice cream, and it's hard. I'm sticking to it. I don't know. I'm not looking up. It's hard. All I'm telling you is I don't know why the hell I'm doing this. And it ain't easy, man. Because I know, like Audra said yesterday, well, just have one. It's not going to kill you. I can't do one.
Nope.
Like you got to know your limits, right? I can say no. I can eat none, but I cannot eat one. Can you?
No. Like, what's the point? If I have a bag of candy, I'm going to eat said bag of candy, like in one sitting, and not think twice about it.
If I put my spoon in that Talenti ice cream, which, by the way, do you know the Talentis?
Yeah.
Okay. If I put my spoon in that, I'm eating half of it. Like, I can't just go have one. And then at half, I'm like, holy bleep, I got to put this thing back.
I always get a chuckle when things say, like, king size or shareable. No, everything is individual size for me. Whether I'm buying a gallon of ice cream or a bag of M&Ms. It's all one serving.
Well, if it's king size, then I'm a damn king. If that's the case, I am royalty, man. No, I'm with you. But anyway, I'm not even sure how I got. Oh, Sunday. Yeah, Sunday. There's a lot of talk. So you're defending champion. You familiar with who your defending champion is? Any idea? Do you remember how long ago that was? Did you see Tiger yesterday? Mike, if you can find, and please do, if you can find Tiger Woods yesterday at the press conference, the defending champion, Tiger Woods yesterday at the press conference, talking about reliving the moment coming off of 18 last year when he won the Masters. It's his 15th major. And JJ, I said at the moment, and I firmly remember the moment, and I remember the Monday morning after. And how I said, this will be a moment that'll tug at you, that will live. We'll talk about that for years to come. And here we are 19 months later. You got it now? 19 months later. And we're still talking about it. So this is Tiger yesterday when asked to recall it. And I think you'll be able to hear the emotion in his voice, to watch him almost choke up. And remember who we're talking about, man. We're talking about that robot that was Tiger Woods. This is Tiger yesterday talking about walking off 18 and winning last year.
That was one of the most, I mean, I'm still getting chills just thinking about it. Feelings, coming up 18 and knowing that all I had to do is just to putt that little 15-footer and, to see my family there, my mom and my kids and all the people that helped support me or were there for me during the tough times. And I was walking up there just trying not to lose it and say, hey, I still got to 2-putt this. And then when I walked off the back of the green, to see Charlie there and just open up our arms, and it meant a lot to me, and it still does. And just reminded me so much of me and my dad. And to come full circle like that, it still gives me, a little teary.
So I watched that yesterday for the first time. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of choked up a little too. Can you hear it in his voice?
Yeah, you hear it. You obviously saw it if you were watching the clip, and it's fascinating because Tiger Woods it's a comeback from everything. It's a comeback from injury and all the things that he went through in his body. It's a comeback from his own personal mistakes off the course, which of course carried over onto the course when we're talking about just the mental psyche of someone to perform at the highest level. And you've said it plenty of times and you believe it, and I agree. It is up there as one of the best comebacks ever for this guy at that time to win a major championship, especially that one, which is the most iconic in the game of golf, the green jacket.
Yeah, I think, yesterday when we were talking about the Jets, you said, okay, you relent a little because it's against the Patriots. And this is relating to that. Because it's that guy. Because, that story would be good, the comeback from everything. But it's that guy. And I think he was so polarizing. He was, I don't know, would you say he was somewhat LeBron-esque when he was in his prime? People either loved him or wanted him to lose. And I think we've come around to this human side of it, where I think the majority of people are pulling for Tiger. That you've watched the evolution of a human being go from damn near robotic. The course is hard. I like my swing. My swing is good. Just being a jerk, but being that focus, that Tiger mentality, that Mamba mentality, that elite superstar, that GOAT kind of stuff. To going through what he went through personally, physically, publicly, and just got gutted, right? Tore it down to the foundation, everything except for the finances, right? He's fine financially. But emotionally, physically, his family, just gutted. And watching him come back to the pinnacle, and there's his kids there, and the full circle from when he won the first one, and Earl Woods was there in '97, and I remember that moment, to watching what we saw. Yeah, JJ, it's that. I'll say it again 19 months later. That moment will live forever, and that'll be one of those iconic moments. I don't know, Mike, did it mean anything to you? You're not a big golf guy, and you probably, well, I know you don't remember when he came off and won his first one, and Earl was there. But like when we talk about GOATs and guys from a different era, does it mean anything to you?
Oh, yeah. No, I love Tiger. I mean, I'm not a big golf guy, but my good friend growing up is a big Tiger Woods fan, so I'd really keyed in on Tiger and watched Tiger and, watched all those struggles. And then seeing that last year and him win, it meant everything, especially for my friend, and meant everything for me because just Tiger's just up there. And watching all those struggles and watching him finally get back up there just meant so much.
See, JJ, when I hear Micah say that, and in that generation, when you watched the end of that, this is where it really clicked for me. It's like I was feeling it, but it's not just me. When you saw not just Bubba Watson there, but Ricky Fowler and Xander Schauffele and all those young guys, this generation, who, by the way, should kiss his ring because the money they're making is because of him. Watching those guys be there, genuinely happy for him, in that wouldn't have happened, right? And when Tiger won 18, 20 years ago, those guys weren't coming out in mass to congratulate him. They didn't like him. But these guys, I just think the fact that he's crossed over generation and evolved from that robot into a mentor, from no personality to, I'm not going to tell you a lot, but some personality, to embracing these guys, to being the co-captain and then the captain of the Ryder Cup or President's Cup team. There's so few stories like that in all of sport, and that's why this was so great.
And I don't think Tiger has a comeback if he doesn't evolve, because he was the dude that could do whatever he wanted, whether it was in his personal life or on the golf course. You know, his challenges were only the things that he made. Like, no one was beating him. He was doing insane things to tough courses all across the world. And when everything went south, how was he going to deal with it? And if he didn't change, we would never see the comeback. And it obviously has helped him in his personal life. You look at his relationship with his kids and the way he talks about it, and then it's, you know, trickled over to the golf course. And I think that's also helped him realize that he's not indestructible on the golf course, and how much harder it is for him to even just make it 4 rounds these days. So I think that just change as a person has given us the last hurrah of Tiger Woods on the golf course.
Yeah, and I look, I don't know that he'll win again a major. I don't. But you know that I was one of the few, right, who kept saying he will win another major, and he did. I don't know that he's going to win another one. I think the whole goal of coming back was to win at least one more. I know everybody says he's got to catch Jack. He doesn't have to catch Jack. He doesn't. He's still one of the greatest 2 golfers ever, and I mean, I think the greatest. But you know, you can have that Michael LeBron conversation with Jack and Tiger, and that's fine. And there's one number that stands out. I get it. But your point is so right, and it's, to me, the greatest comeback that we've ever seen in sports, ever. And now if Alex Smith gets to the Super Bowl, we can have that conversation.
That will definitely be up there. But, you know, when we come back, I don't know if there's ever been a time when we're talking about the Masters tournament where there's been this many potential favorites. Like, it is hard to narrow it down to think who's going to put on that jacket on Sunday. Right.
We'll talk about that when we come back. No down payment for a new home? No problem. Get a jump start at Kirtland Federal Credit Union. The Jump Start Down Payment Assistance Program can give you up to $6,000 towards your new home, and this is not a loan. If you stay in your home for 4 years, you don't have to pay it back. Prices are high right now. A down payment could put that dream home out of reach. Don't let that happen. If you have never owned a home, or you've not owned a home over the last 3 years, you could qualify. Get a jump start on home ownership. Apply for your jump start assistance today. Go to Kirtland Federal Credit Union, kirtlandfcu.org/jumpstart. kirtlandfcu.org/jumpstart. Kirtland Federal Credit Union, they are more than military. They are for life. Kirtland Federal Credit Union is an equal housing lender, federally insured by the NCUA.
The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages. Responsible for the North-South All-Star Games, statewide Coaches Award Program, and providing multiple professional development opportunities for New Mexico's coaches. Be a great coach by coaching beyond the game.
Shoot. They'll get one off, and it'll count high off the window.
Oh my gosh.
There's a long 3.
Boom.
Bang. Martinez will beat the buzzer. Got it to go. His
Fork driving kick. 3's in the air. It's good.
Nice pass on the nice block by Hernandez Crawford.
And Brown in the transition. But why not, Steve? Is Corbalan's going to go and he puts it away. And Corbalan wants to put it down. But here comes Las Cruces. Brown, you can't leave him alone. Put it down.
Rashawn in transition. 3-on-2. Rashawn going to go all the way. Whoa, Morgan.
Moreno extra pass, and Watson. Out with it, Gallegos, and he's gonna run all the way. Window, yes! Able to get out of it. How did he find Battle? It's to Cunningham, and it...
I mean, Ramos' hand. And
Ramos puts it up, beats the buzzer!
Boy, Jefferson wide open.
Jefferson to Daraji! It's into Watson with the jam!
Another steal by Domino Lovato, and here comes Agbaiosi. Lob, two-hand hammer. You knew that was coming. Heck about the lob, tagged by Osi, the one-hand hammer.
Put up. And a drive from Parham. Wants another!
Opportunity here. Martinez shoots, he scores.
Cut into it. Had some nice looks at the rim. Win. Inside. They're not going to miss this one. Two-hand hammer from Murillo.
Ball's played up. Rodriguez with it. Gonna settle. Looks to the inside. Comes to the far side push. Shot on in. Goal. Deflected in. No.
Dorian's gonna go all the way. It was blocked by the rim. Get it out, says Kobe Wade. Ramos. Got it. Look out. Ramos, can he chase it down? It was a freebie. Saved it.
Foul. Tower. And Dottie Pepper. Lindquist out on 15. Bill McAtee will also be there. All right, Fern Lindquist will be there. So they got the full slate. Who's working with Tony Romo this week? You?
Maybe it's you. Who knows?
Hello, friends. Hello, friends. All right, who do you got? You said there's a lot of players. Who you like?
Well, I think the elite tier.
Yeah.
Guys that probably not going to get good odds, but when you look at it, Biceps, Koepka, Rom, DJ, Xander Schauffele, and Justin Thomas. I think that's the elite tier heading into the weekend.
Did you see the shot that John Rahm made yesterday at the par 3? So if you've not seen it, and Jay Paul, you may want to find this and run it. John Rahm in the par 3 contest history. So they do a thing where they try to hit the ball. They show off their skills. You know how you used to throw rocks and skim them across the water, right?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Rahm, so they do that, try to skim the ball across the lake. Rahm skimmed it across the water and made an ace. He teed off, skimmed it across the water. It rolled, took a hard left turn, hole in freaking one. Like, I've never had a hole in one in my life, and this guy's playing games and skimming it across water. When I tell you they play a different game than we do, take a look at that, and that's all you ever need to know.
Yeah, the most impressive thing was getting it across the water.
Yeah.
And not just going
and
right
then getting it in the hole. Yeah, and then getting it in the hole.
Was it one of the par 3 course holes?
Yeah, I think so. It might have been a practice hole. I don't know.
They funnel to the hole.
Yeah, they do. I mean, they're set up for scoring.
A hole in one on the par 3. I'm very impressed with the skimming across the water.
Never mind, it went in the hole. All right. I'm
funnels
impressed.
to the hole, man. If you're a professional golfer, you should get it.
But he hit it up on the shelf, and then it dropped down dead left. If you hit it over the left, it doesn't funnel to the hole. If you hit it short, if you hit it in the water, it doesn't funnel to the hole. I don't know, man. That was insane. All right, 505-246-0610. Edward, good morning. You are on the Quan's Auto Care hotline. Good day, sir.
Will the azaleas be in full bloom in mid-November?
They'll be, I don't know. I would think they're in back end of the bloom. Like, are they still there? I know.
That shot is useful. You know why they don't do aerial views of the Masters? Because Augusta, Georgia is a dump of a town. Phenomenal golf course, but that is a dump of a town. That's why you rarely see aerial shots, that don't pan out past the golf course. Nothing against it. They have a great tradition, but
not against it. It's a dump. Nothing against it, though. I say that respectfully.
Indeed. Speaking of respect, of course, it's Veterans Day, and I want to wish Happy Veterans Day to all who have served and made huge sacrifices. As an individual who was raised by someone who served in World War II in the South Pacific, and also when I was in college, I had friends that were in the reserves, and they pulled them out of our engineering classes and took them within a week or two of training and sent them to the Middle East for the first Desert Storm situation. Thank you to everyone. Anyone who wants to understand the full sacrifice people have made, throw on the first 10 minutes of Saving Private Ryan, and watch that intently. And several wars have been fought. So just want to share that and say thank you. It gives us the ability to share our thoughts and opinions in pursuit of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So I'm eternally grateful. A couple of things. One, the NFL now, if they miss games, now they may implement and put more teams in the playoffs, and we'll have a full slate of games, and there will be no buys. Yeah, there's a strong possibility that may happen. I actually think that's a good idea. If you're only going to give one bye, if you're going to do away with the number 2 seed getting a bye, then make everybody play. I don't think there should be a distinct advantage if only one team gets a bye.
Yeah, it's tough to change the rules mid-season on that, but yeah.
Hey, I heard an interview with Jim Gray, and he has a book out called Talking to Goats, and he's interviewed Muhammad Ali and Tom Brady and Tiger Woods and Michael Jordan, and it's fascinating. If you guys get a chance, just Google the interview. It's with Colin Cowherd, but he talked specifically about Tyson, about the biting incident, and he said right after the fight, I guess the headbutt was so severe that he got from Holyfield that you could see his skull. And that's why he reacted in that manner to retaliate. And it's just a fascinating interview that I heard. He talked about Ali being very gracious, and you go down the list of the all-time greats, and I think it's such a novel concept. And I'll probably pick the book up, but I thought it was a pretty interesting interview. Anyway, gentlemen, just want to wish everybody a happy day, and I hope everybody moves forward with grace and celebrates humanity today. Have a delightful day.
You as well. He called it 246-0610 and echo his sentiments on Veterans Day. Hope you heard the beginning of our show, because certainly thankful for everything that all of our veterans do, have done, continue to do, and all the sacrifices. 505-246-0610. All right, we owe you a break, don't we? So let's take that break. We'll get back into it when we come back. Big bag of chocolate for breakfast, JJ. I mean, I'm just saying, Twix is like a cookie, right? And a cookie's kind of like breakfast. And
just throw some milk on it.
Cookie crisps.
You could throw a bunch of them in a bowl. Yeah. Throw a bunch in a bowl, and you could have Twix cereal. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal.
Ramos wants another.
Opportunity here. Martinez shoots, he scores.
Cut into it. And had some nice looks at the rim. Win. Inside. They're not going to miss this one. Two-hand hammer from Murillo.
Ball's played up. Rodriguez with it. Gonna settle. Looks to the inside. Brings to the far side push. Shot on in. Goal. Deflected in. No.
Dorian's gonna go all the way. It was blocked by the rim. Get it out, says Kobe Wade. Ramos, got it. Look out. Ramos, can he chase it down? It was a freebie. Saved it. And then stolen. And somehow Hasbury's got it back. Handoff. Watson.
Get it stripped. Calion stripped him. Compiling the other way. Win up top to the big goal. Here he comes.
For the lead. Got it.
What a great game plan. Look at this.
Agbayosi throws it down.
Played over to Madrid. Plays it across the box off the dasher. It's settled. Shot on by Garcia. Trickles in. Goal.
Chavez blocked at the rim. And here's Dorian Lewis to Watson.
Shot on and just wide. Big deflection. Goal.
With his first field goal. Look at that. That's gorgeous.
Not a game you can go have 25 turnovers in and win.
Get that out of here, Watson says. Here comes Hodnett all the way. He's blocked in return. Dickey, did he get it off? He did, and he hit it.
They're really
Oliveras. Wild three, and it hit.
Another steal nearly by Hiron. It is a steal. Avalos ahead to Hiron. The two-hand hammer by Hiron. I knew he was going to put that one down.
ProView Networks tonight.
District mashup there.
Davidson took it away in transition. Might be time for a jam. Yes.
Oh! Big Barton, watch him, coach. Watch the inbounder.
Duma Sanchez in the...
Global football getting a little national pub on The Athletic. Nicole Auerbach has published a story called Inside New Mexico's Unprecedented Season-Long Out-of-State Road Trip, talking about how counterparts in states or governors are carving out exemptions for college sports. Pac-12 schools work their way out of political and politicians' orders. New Mexico's governor would not budge, so Eddie Nunez was faced with a choice: don't play or go to another state. So it's there if you subscribe to The Athletic. Jeff, JJ, Micah, J-Pull, Alden, what's up, y'all? We're on the ProView Networks. Oh yeah, buddy.
No echo?
Yeah, no, there's a little echo, but
Okay.
it's better. It's better. Yeah, you're on the right path. We're on the ProView Networks, and of course 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal. I think the more New Mexico United got some pub, JJ, but I think this Lobo football season is probably going to get more pub as it goes on, because college football is much more of a nationally covered and recognized and watched sport than the USL. That's
Yes,
not a knock on
and
the USL.
Different because they're not even coming back in between games. Like New Mexico United still came back, practice, wouldn't play their games. This is pick up everything, relocated to Las Vegas, so you're the Las Vegas Lobos of New Mexico this season.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times, and obviously I have this conversation with people daily off the air, and I would tell you 40 to 50% of the time it comes up anger against United. Well, if they were a damn soccer team, they'd play. Oh, she loves that soccer team. If they gave money to her campaign. I mean, it's literally, I mean, I don't know about you. Does it come up as often when you have, because I know you have the conversation too.
Yeah, it's inevitable when we're talking about this situation to look at what happened with New Mexico United. I don't have an answer for it. Not many people do. There's a lot of assumptions with it. Is it as simple as, well, pro versus amateur, but still even those pros couldn't play in state, yet they could practice in state? It doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, or is it who contributed to whose campaign more? So I don't know. All right, Lance, good morning. Happy Veterans Day. How you doing, Lance?
Hey, thank you. Like every morning I talk to like 6 at least, and trying to, one of them kill themselves, and it's through the Wounded Warriors Project, and that's just the thing. I've lost a lot, but at the same time I saved a lot, and, so it's really hard, but the thing is that those VFWs right now, they're listening to your station. I got a room to where they just can tune in, I guess, and maybe they have it on TV by now, because you got ProView back, which is awesome. I watched so many great games on that station, but that's just a thing. I mean, they listen to you, and that's just a thing. One thing, I have a bone to pick with you. Well, first, I'm watching stills. I'm watching Stills Woodworks, where they chop trees down for competition, and they get into each other's face. You'd think like a fellow woodworker would just be nice to the fellow woodworker, but they're not. really terrible to each other. But you know, my thing is like, caller Sean, I love you, man. You're great. You stick with your team. You get aggravated. But if I said that word on the air, you wouldn't let me on for at least a month or two. You know, and I wonder why you hate me so much. You know, for JJ and Micah was a dirty thought.
Lance, we love you. You just, and I appreciate that, and that's a fair question, and I mean, you've done it a number of times, and so, but he let it slip the one time. He let him back and apologize. He's not going to do it again, or it's going to be a long time. But Lance, happy Veterans Day to you and to all of those who fought for our country, and appreciate everything that you've done.
Well, I mean, for what all you've done. I mean, they're listening to you right now.
We haven't done. Yeah.
I have people listening to you right now that I've made listen to them.
Appreciate that.
Where what you need to do to get to the end of the day is turn on the sports animal.
Appreciate that.
Are you still there?
Yeah, we're still there. We're still there. No, appreciate that. All right, Lance, enjoy the day and be well. We'll talk to you soon. And Lance called at 505-246-0610. Paul, good morning, Paul. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. What's up, Paul?
Morning, guys.
Morning.
Well, that shot by John Rahm was something to watch, to actually
thank you
do that on purpose. And actually, it hole out is insane. I've got a small story about Four Hills, and we were in a skins game up there, and I was playing well. I mean, I think I was 1 under going into 18, and I had a pitching wedge into 18 and absolutely sculled it. It was the worst shot I could have hit. And I'm just hit the bunker, that front bunker, that hold that. And I think they switched the 9s around, but it's the one that's elevated. You can't see it. My buddies were on the right. It hit the face of that bunker, went straight up in the air, and I thought it's in the bunker. Well, it went over the bunker, and it rolled in.
That's awesome.
For an eagle, and it was the absolutely craziest thing. But to do it on purpose is absolutely insane.
It's insane. Yeah, I don't care if it funnels to the hole or not. That's incredibly impressive.
Oh, it was. And then when I got up there, they were all mad because that actually won me a lot of money, that hole. So that was really fun. But you know, the Lobos actually, you know, they're fun to watch. Actually, I mean, that was some points they scored. Just couldn't get it done there in Hawaii. But you know, they look like they're going in the right direction. We get the defense figured out, and they might be really good. And just want to put a shout out there to all the veterans. Thank you for your service. Have a wonderful day.
Right on, Paul. Thanks. See, JJ, I don't care if it funnels to the hole or not.
I hit a lot of shots like that, not on purpose as well.
So about 3 weeks ago, we're up at Canyon Club number 14, the whole the par 4 over the water, and I put mine down in the fairway, and the guy I was playing with was up on the hill. He had to come up over. They had 167 yards, he said, over the tree, and there's leaves out there. So we both get up to the green, and there's he goes to hit my ball. I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure that's mine. He's like, oh. Yeah, it is. Where the hell's mine? I'm like, I don't know. He says, well, it's coming right at the pin, right on this line. So we start looking everywhere. Can't find his ball. And it was a blind shot. He had to come up over the trees. And he had just birdied 13. And we're looking everywhere. And I'm like, well, let me putt out. These guys are coming in. So I two putt. And as I go to reach in the cup for the ball, there's 2 balls sitting in there.
Whoa.
I'm like, hey. Got it. And he's like, what? I'm like, yeah, dude, eagle. So he went birdie eagle with this blind shot from up on the hill. He over the trees, never saw it. It was like, yeah, it's pretty. It happens, man. The bummer is he didn't get to see it go in, and so he was all pissed off. Where's my damn ball? Look. I know I hit it well. Damn it, I'm gonna have to take a drop. And I'm like, look what I got, man. You hitting the Titleist, whatever the number is? Yeah, that's mine. Yeah, it happens. Yeah, I don't know what's more impressive, that or John Rahm's, because I got to see John Rahm's. I only found the ball on this one. 505-246-0610 is the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
second field goal. He's got 4 points. Watson, though, goes all the way.
Hit the deck, I should say. Cordova tried to throw it off. Romero, a 3 for...
Set out to Jutapia. Nice move behind his back. It's a good... Here's Ramos, step back, high arcing, 20!
Well, he needed to get his legs back under him.
Ooh, little kick.
They leave it one more time. Two-hand hammer.
Look at this, they're not going to score again. Look at this.
Up top. Yes, and the finish for Akbayosi. Saved into the hands of Riak, ahead of the pack to Davina Lovato. Up high, down hard for Akbayosi. Out of the corner, Casals, the 3-0, Katenge! Let me clean up the mess! He dropped out of the rafters for that one, Steve.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms, and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rollins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a #1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Let's see if Melfi can cash it in. He's got some protection. Deep ball, Erickson's open. Touchdown, Monarchs.
Second and 10. Smith looking, and he's going to fire over the middle, and he's got his guy, and it's another big play. Walking away for a touchdown, Tristan Altier.
They're going to hand it off to Chavez. Chavez breaking tackles, look out! Chavez up the sideline, stays in bounds, touchdown, Volcanovic!
That replay, I got you. Measurement. I mean, Smith's got a fire on first down, and he's on the outside. There's a lot of room for Brad Thomas. A move, and he's set free. Dance into the end zone. Touchdown. So it goes.
He'll run with it. Stumbling. Gets down into the end zone. They're looking to throw it. And he throws it in the end zone. Caught!
First and 10 from the 11. And Spin move for Smith. Push the B button. Dance into the end zone.
He'll throw it. Looking. Here comes the rush. Stepping up. Pavia now running around. Being chased. Looks across. Throws it up. Man's wide open. Ball is caught. Touchdown. Siembieda. Dropping, looking, stepping up. He's going to run. He's got a lot of green in front of him. To the end zone. Touchdown. Rio Rancho, Isaiah Chavez. Chavez set. He's going to run with it again. And
Really interesting response.
Yes, I do.
Sorry, go.
Well, expect to contend? Yes, I do.
That was Tiger Woods.
Okay. Do I expect it? Yes, next question.
Short and sweet. Short and sweet.
Next question. Do I expect to contend? That was Tiger Woods on the Masters.
What kind of
Starts
clown
tomorrow.
question is that, bro? Clown question.
So what do you say? Chicken, sushi. He's at the meal for the Champions dinner tonight. 3 different desserts. Good for him, man. Fajitas, I think. That's what it was. Chicken, sushi, and fajitas. I'll bet it's pretty good. Like, wouldn't it be cool to be a fly on the wall at the Champions dinner and just all the guys who are in there and listen to their stories, and as they just go through the BS deck and just go deeper and deeper and pull out more BS cards and deeper. I mean that's a pretty good deck each one of them brings to the table. It'd be fun to listen to. All right, JJ, I'm looking at the Twitter, Nicole Auerbach's Twitter, and if you're just joining us, Nicole Auerbach of The Athletic wrote a story on the Lobos football team and their seemingly season-long road trip. And on the Twitter, she said the state of New Mexico wouldn't let the Lobos play, so they packed up their weight room and their team and relocated to Las Vegas inside the program's last-ditch effort to save its football season by living and playing all fall on the road. So there's comments about, wow, it's an inspiration story, and then the one guy says, it's not an inspiration story. It's, the lengths a coach will go to flaunt public health rules. Was he flaunting public health rules? And then, there's a few more, oh, this is great. And then there's more saying they're putting this is ridiculous. They're flaunting public health guidelines and putting unpaid players at risk. Real inspiring stuff here, and which was Twitter. JJ, I'd love to have a conversation with those people, because I don't know how you can convince me that those student athletes are not in a safer situation than they would be supposedly running around on campus. And if you're going to tell me that the spread rate in Bernalillo County and in this state is the highest that it's been, and that we're at over 30 per 100,000, and what the numbers, we had 1,266 new cases yesterday, and somehow that we're putting these student athletes at risk by testing them 3 times a week, bubbling them, putting them in a bubble, and allowing them to play against other student athletes who are also tested. I honestly, for the life of me, now you can tell me that they shouldn't go these lengths to play football, and I'll even listen to that. But I don't know how you can sit here and tell me that you're exploiting public health guidelines and putting these student athletes in more danger than they would be if they were at campus in an uncontrolled environment running around.
Oh, let me tell you, 97% of the people that comment on things don't read the actual story. So they don't know what is going on. They don't know about the testing. They don't know the fact that when you're at the hotel, the players can't leave their rooms unless it's to go watch film, go to study hall, or pick up their meals. Like, they just can't walk around the resort and do things. And the skirting public health issue, it's not understanding what they're doing versus everything else. So the comments of people against it, it's just people that aren't reading.
That are reading headlines. They're just reading the headlines and making and have already come to their own conclusions.
The vast majority of people that comment on things without actually knowing what they're commenting on.
Yeah, I mean, these people are pathetic, and it's just football over health. I honestly, I would love to hear, and again, you know where I am on this, right? And we had some good calls over the last few days, people on the other side. But those of you who think that everything, there should be nothing going on this day, I'm fine with that. But can you explain to me, do you believe that these student athletes who are in this bubble, who are getting tested 3 times a day, that are under all the protocol, that are forced to wear their masks, that are are somehow at more risk than you and me and the general public who's running around, or other college kids running around campus who are getting these 1,266 cases yesterday in our state? Because if you're going to tell me, it feels to me that what this football team is having the student athletes do is everything that the governor's asking to do, that supposedly we're not, right? They're wearing masks. They're banging together, but they're all tested. But otherwise, they're, from every indication, socially distancing. They're going to class. They've got academic advisors. And yes, they're representing the state of New Mexico and playing football. So I'm really going to struggle, and nobody's been able to explain to me where the risk is to the student. It's just a risk. It's just bad. Okay. How? How are those student athletes at any more of a risk? And I would argue that at less of a risk than everybody else. I'm listening. 505-246-0610. I'm listening. All right, I got a bunch of emails. You want me to start getting through some of them? The letter says, Dan, right now the focus, Jeffrey, Juan Jose, and Micah John, should be on July. They need to be building momentum so that on July 5th or whenever athletes return and report for 2021-2022, they can hit the ground running. So we aren't in the same boat on July 3rd when the governor starts issuing orders that puts the kibosh on everything 2 weeks at a time. It's from Dan. So Dan's basically saying, stop peeling the onion back, cut it in half. You've lost this whole season. Eat it and start preparing for next year. I disagree. Do you agree with him?
As frustrating as it is, you have to be as flexible as possible. And unfortunately, that doesn't always mean that your flexibility is going to turn into a positive decision.
Okay. Would it be, I mean, I'm listening. To be the only school or schools, to be the only state in the union that is not going to allow its student athletes to play college basketball. Good thing or bad thing? Is that showing you're leading, or is that a problem when you try to recruit student athletes? I'm asking. I'm listening.
I don't think, while it's used, I don't think you can say the way that we're acting to a global pandemic, which, fingers crossed, you hope things are differently next year, at this point is going to hurt recruiting.
Really? Okay. Yeah. I'm going to respectfully disagree. If I'm a student athlete,
are we going to be doing this for 5 years? Then
I don't know.
It's a problem.
So I'm a student athlete getting recruited, and I want to play next year. And I can go to Colorado State, Fresno State, UT San Antonio, or New Mexico. Well, hell, they're all playing and they're not. Where am I going? I know I can play next year. That's what I mean, I'm an 18, 19, 17, 20-year-old young man. I want to play.
Well, good thing you get to keep all these guys next year. They don't lose eligibility.
I hope so. Yeah, I hope so. And if that's worth it to you,
if the university wants to pay for it.
That's a lot of ifs, man. That's a lot of ifs.
So maybe you don't have to worry about recruiting new people. You just pay to keep your players.
It's a whole lot of ifs. I mean, Lobo Hobo just said time to hit the transfer portal, Jeff. If I'm local athletes, I'm getting out of this dump now. I'm not sitting on my hands and hoping things change in 21-22 sports here. High school athletes. I mean, I've heard, I can't tell you a lot, but a number of stories where high school athletes are going to live with family, grandparents, or the family's moving out of state so they can get an opportunity to be seen and go potentially get a scholarship. I'm listening, man. I'm not. I have my thought, and I'm leaning one way. But you know, if you want to sway me, I'm listening. Tell me, being the only state, is that a problem? Well, we're leading. We're more cautious. We're leading the way. We're not going to do what other states do, and every other state in the union is going to play college basketball this year. Good thing, bad thing. I mean, I certainly have my thought, but I'm listening. We'll entertain both sides of the story. 505-246-0610. That's how you get in. Or Jeff or JJ at 610knml.com. We're on ProView Networks and on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Times and
Austin Smith, and to the outside, a lot of room. Look out, a foot race down the sideline. All the way on the first play from scrimmage, Chris. That's a touchdown.
Scrambling. And great hit. He bounces off outside. Got some daylight at the 20, the 10, the 5. What an incredible run.
Call it as Javi's looking, and he's got a guy wide open, and it's Gay, and he's gonna walk into the end zone. But he did a good job with it. First and goal, it's Chavez to the middle, and Chavez stops.
And Stevens in motion. On the handoff to Mitchell. Look out! Oh, see you later. Take it to the house. Fly, Cardinals fly. To the other side, provide some protection. And off to Webskowski again. Look out! See you later. Good night. Touchdown, Webskowski. An 8. 2 receivers at the top. Harris has all day. He's going to fire to the end zone. Open man. Touchdown. Wild catch. Not a defender inside.
A little bit.
Webskowski on the sideline. Hasta mañana. He's off to the races. Touchdown, Clovis.
Albuquerque this afternoon.
34-24. Rancho late in the third. How about this run? Nice play. Dickerman. He's still on his feet. Touchdown, Wolverine.
Exactly what they want to get yards. He's going to go for it. He's got a guy towards the end zone. It's Krebs. Touchdown. What a play.
And long here for the Storm. Handoff to, we're going to fake the handoff, excuse me. Davidson on the deep ball. He's got some space, and it's caught. Still on his feet. Touchdown, Storm. Wow. Santa Maria.
And so they'll send one deep and returnable at the 2. Usually Volcano do either a reverse or a fake reverse, and here it is a reverse. And a move to the outside. There is a lane. Look out! Shot out of a cannon. Rodriguez is going to take it all the way. Dorian over. Did he get in?
Yeah, they got in. He got in.
Touchdown, Dorian Lewis.
Seconds to play. Benavides looking, still looking up the middle. It's intercepted. It's picked off by Freddie Anaya, and Roswell's season will end perfect.
Again, I'm trying to look at it as I'm still an underdog to the field. You know, anybody can win this week. There's a lot of unbelievable players out there. So, you know, I will never look at myself as someone that is better than anyone out here. Until the scores are written in stone afterwards. It's just not what I do. It's not what I will ever do.
Bryson DeChambeau, or what is that? Biceps D. What do we call him? Whatever. Masters tomorrow. Bryce, it's going to be interesting. Can he cut the corners? Can he carve that course down to size? So we'll see tomorrow, and it'll be fun. 505-246-0610 if you want to get in. We're talking about the situation in sports in our state. And, I've asked, I said, is it good? I'm looking for the positives. I certainly have my thoughts, but I'm listening. And JJ, you are too, to be the only state where your college basketball teams can't play. Brian said high school kids are leaving New Mexico to play high school sports. Why would recruits come here to possibly not play, knowing they will play in every other state? Agree with you, 100%. I don't think even this is a debate. Of course it'll hurt recruiting. Example, you're going on vacation and decided which hotel you'll stay at. Hotel A allows swimming. Hotel B allows swimming. Hotel C allows no swimming, or might allow swimming. Which one are you going to stay if you have kids? That's fair.
Well, of course, it's not the best situation possible. But we're acting like there's available spots everywhere that you can just go, and there's going to be other places to play, which is not the case. So there's athletes that are getting recruited that it's not like all these kids can just be like, oh, I'm taking this scholarship here or there. Is it going to affect it? Yes. I don't think it's going to have this negative effect where all of a sudden Lobo football, basketball are the worst teams in the conference next season.
Yeah, I think part of I agree with part of that. I think most kids have a choice. Most kids, most student athletes are being recruited by more than just New Mexico or New Mexico State. So do they have a choice? And will this affect them? And we'll see. I mean, how long it goes. Mark, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. How you doing, Mark?
Hey, good morning. I'm doing fine, thank you. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
I listened to the Board of Regents meeting yesterday, and in that meeting, there was medical experts from Grand Canyon, from the WAC, from, my God, we even had somebody who used to work for Dr. Fauci, I believe, who's now at New Mexico State. Everything was science-based. Everything was non-political. And the recommendations that were made from all of them said that basically NMSU had gone above and beyond anything the WAC had done, anything Grand Canyon had done, anything Seattle had done. And the entire meeting was based on science. So if the governor, and not to get political, but if the governor says that everything on her actions is based on science, then somebody's wrong. Then it's either hypocritical or the science is different in Santa Fe as it is in the experts that presented yesterday. And so it appears that NMSU presented three options, that they have no choice but to go to option B or C, and if they want to compete. But what was striking yesterday was how many different experts from different parts of the country were supportive of the science part of it, and yet New Mexico is saying no. And so something is wrong. If science is being used as the barometer on it, then something is wrong. So
Mark, appreciate
that's
it.
my 2 cents.
Yeah, no, thanks. And JJ, all I can say, and I don't know about that. I would just assume that the governor's staff, whoever's making these decisions, and I don't know if it's the governor per se or if it's her staff. They've got their data and their science too, and that's what they're sticking to. Is one science better than the other? Because I think the majority of schools proposals are going above and beyond what the state's asking. But the spread is what the spread is. And I think part of it, JJ, too, is are they afraid to open a can of worms? If they make an exemption for one, do they have to make an exemption for everybody?
You don't have to do that at all. And that's my thing with this. It's impossible for a one-size-fits-all approach, because we're not all dealing with the same things, expectations,
Grady, Hoser, Rudy,
work-related activities, testing available, quarantine, etc. So I agree. I'm on the side of they should be playing because of what has been presented. I agree with that. So I'm not like sitting here saying shut it down. I think the recruiting questions are real. I don't see it decimating either into next season. Are there going to be struggles and challenges? Yes. But guess what? UNM and NMSU are also a place that people will transfer to ultimately. So I don't think this year is going to end up being something that has these universities so far behind now, unless they can't play. And then that's a different conversation, because then what revenue are you losing out on? And then how does that then affect the rest of your athletic department?
All right, let's go to the other side. Grady, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Hello, Grady.
COVID science evaluators of the OD and the AM. What's going on?
Lots. How you living?
I'm good. I actually was intending to talk about something totally different. I wanted to comment real quick on how you had talked about with the way coaches and players have changed, etc. And just briefly, I'll say, look at Coach K. Because Coach K, even 10 years ago, was the model of the program where he wasn't the yeller and the screamer, but you come to Duke, you commit for 4 years, you're a long-term guy, that type of deal. And he has completely adjusted his philosophy to where, the one and done, that's just fine. And he can deal with it, et cetera. So I think it's a matter of coaches, because you had asked, do both sides need to change? And quite frankly, if you look at the talent pool and the way kids are, I think that if you're a coach and you want to coach like you were coached 20, 30, 40 years ago, you are going to fail nowadays, period. So I don't think that you can find enough top-flight recruits that will, quote-unquote, adjust to your old-school style of thinking to win enough games. So with that said, quickly on the Lobo football bubble, and to play devil's advocate here, I agree. They are doing everything right. They're isolating. They are wearing masks. They're being super careful. They're being tested. And I'll even go so far as to say maybe what Rudy C. has been saying, there's some validity to it. Maybe they are a model to how we as a state, et cetera, can get past this thing. So my devil's advocate position is, do we really think that people are going to isolate, wear masks, and get tested on a regular basis to defeat this? Or are they going to be complaining about their personal freedoms? So there's one point. And then I'll say this. It's amazing, some people might think, that the universities, et cetera, can come up with these elaborate plans to keep student-athletes safe. Well, what about the rest of the students? What about the rest of the campus? Does the research department, does the math department, does the dance department, can they come up with plans to isolate so they can perform and do all these other things too and meet in person? I don't know. So
okay, a couple of things. Are they on campus? And B, how do you pay for that? Where strictly with football, you're paying for it with part of the television revenue, right?
Right. No,
and you're talking about a much larger number.
I got you. I'm just saying, it's people that are against that. Whether they're saying, well, how can they come up with these plans and these solutions for just such a small percentage of people? But you're right. No, those people aren't on campus. I'm sure they want to be on campus, just like the football team wants to be on campus. So interesting enough, but I'm not in that camp to where they're treated special and this and that. I'm just trying to maybe present a little bit different perspective. And I'll end the call with this. Just because everybody else is doing it isn't always a solid argument, at least not in my house, because I hear that a lot. Well, everybody else is doing it. Why can't I? I don't know. Maybe it's not just a rigid position of, are we leading? Is it leadership?
Well, that's what I'm asking. Are we leading? That's what I've asked. So I mean, I feel the other way, and you know I do. But
does it have to be just? Is that the only choice? Does it have to be? Well, we're looking to lead the country, or is it just these are the decisions that were made, and whether the rest of the country believes it, we're leading or not? See, I think it's a false equivalency to equate sticking with one's guns with trying to be a national leader, trying to stand out. And maybe that's true. I'm just looking at it from the perspective of why does it have to be, and again, why does it have to be she's trying to stand out versus this is the policy, and it doesn't matter if what everybody else is doing, this is what we're going to go
That's fair
with.
enough. It's like your mom says, I don't care what everybody else is doing, you're not doing it. You're not going to that party. I don't care if they're all going, you're not going. Well, Mom, everybody's going. I'm going to go live with them. No, you're not. It's fair, but unfortunately, when it's something this high profile, it is. When you're the only one, then you do stand out, Grady. I mean, that's...
Well, and again, my argument is the reason that you're standing out, is it to be a leader, or is it just because this is your policy?
This is your policy.
I think it's arguable that the policy is bad. I think people can't argue that, but if all of a sudden you want to vilify someone, well, they're just trying to do this. They don't care. They hate this. They hate this. They hate this group of people. Versus, you know what? It's a bad decision, and to be inflexible, maybe that is an issue.
That's the word. So that's where I was going to go. I think the frustration is the apparent lack of flexibility and the stubbornness to apparently. And again, when you present like they did, like I know there's been others, and you don't feel like you're getting listened to, and there's no flexibility, or apparently no flexibility, and no willing. I think that's where it goes. Got to hit this break, but a great call, and thank you, Grady.
Appreciate the time, gentlemen.
All right, JJ, we got Hoser and Rudy when we get back. Your thoughts on his call? Because I think it's fair. Why does it have to be? But I think in a high-profile situation like this, it is.
Well, because athletes are treated differently on a college campus, you have to acknowledge that.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that as I know people talk about the college experience, but guess what? The college experience is different, and it means you're not going to be on campus, so you're not going to go out of your way to put a bunch of students needlessly on campus and test. I think it does highlight the lack of available and consistent testing around the nation, right? And we talk about what can we learn? Well, we learn about testing at least 3 times a week and isolating yourself, which that can't carry over to everyone's everyday life. So ultimately, when it comes back to it, the student athletes treated different. Taking them away from the student body for them to perform athletics does also benefit the other athletes that are hoping to play in the spring.
Yeah. All right. 505-246-0610. We'll get back to the phones when we come back. On the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
The 25K Holiday Payday.
Sponsored locally by Fiesta Subaru. Share the...
Call it as Javi's looking, and he's got a guy wide open, and it's Gay, and he's going to walk into the end zone. But he did a good job with it. First and goal, it's Chavez to the middle, and Chavez stops.
And Stevens in motion. On the handoff to Mitchell. Look out! Oh, see you later. Take it to the house. Fly. Cardinals fly. To the other side. Provide some protection. And off to Webskowski again. Look out. See you later. Good night. Touchdown. Webskowski. All day. He's going to fire to the end zone. Open man! Touchdown! Wildcats! Not a defender inside.
A little bit.
Kowski on the sideline! Asta Manana, he's off to the races! Touchdown, Clovis!
Albuquerque this afternoon.
34-24, Rancho, late in the third. How about this run? Nice play, Dickerman, he's still on his feet. Touchdown, Wolverine!
He's going to go for it. He's got a guy towards the end zone. It's grabbed. Touchdown.
What a play.
And long here for the Storm. Handoff to, we're going to fake the handoff, excuse me. Davidson on the deep ball. He's got some space, and it's caught. Still on his feet. Touchdown, Storm. Wow. Santa Maria.
And so they'll send one deep and returnable at the 2. Usually Volcano do either a reverse or a fake reverse, and here it is a reverse. And a move to the outside. There is a lane. Look out. Shot out of a cannon. Rodriguez is going to take it all the way.
Thought you had Christian McCaffrey back in your fantasy lineups, probably out this weekend. It's the report that just came down. And UAB UTEP football, JJ, moved to a high school stadium in Midland, Texas this weekend because of the COVID outbreak in El Paso. They are moving to Midland and will play in a high school. That's what college football has become these days. Just play the game. So that's where we are. 505-246.
Do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Do it as safely as possible.
I'll bet that high school football stadium's nicer than some college stadiums we've been to, if you know high school football in Texas. All right, 2460610. Jeff Siembieda, JJ Buck, Micah, J. Pole, and Alden. We are on the ProView Networks at 95.9 FM and AM 630 Sports Animal. Rudy, thank you for holding. I thought you might have an opinion on this. What's up?
Well, you know, I feel bad for the New Mexico State caller because he keeps thinking that the governor, when she says science, she means like actual science, but she really means political science. And we're 50th in everything for a reason. And the reason is right in front of you. Nothing science-based. If 100 scientists told her that it's okay for the team to play, she doesn't care. She doesn't care if 1,000. She doesn't care if the good Lord himself presents himself to her and says it's okay. The other thing that's shocking is reading Sports Speak Up this morning and seeing just how naive people are. You know, UNM is part of a conference. They have contractual obligations, don't they, Jeff? You know what a contract is, right?
Yeah, I'm familiar with them. Yeah. Well, all right. So, Rudy, they look. Just to be clear on that, they could have gotten out of their contractual obligations. It would have been at a deep financial expense and potential relationship expense, and it wouldn't have been easy, as you know, as an attorney, to get out of those contractual obligations.
They can go cite COVID all they want, and they can cite the governor, but it doesn't matter. They lose $4.3 million minimum.
That's correct.
Minimum.
Yes.
That's just TV money.
Yep.
That doesn't go to any people who are thinking about donating to the university and canceled their donations because they want to support athletics. You know, there's a lot of those people in Albuquerque. You don't hear about them, but they're out there. That's why the Lobo Club has 4,000 members. So this whole thing just is not science-based, so let's not pretend that it is. The only thing that this governor is going to bow to is political pressure. And when enough
Where's
people,
that going to come from?
It comes from the people. It comes from the students writing a letter. It comes from people continuing to call the governor's office and say, will you please adjust your order and exempt college athletics as long as they can show a positivity rate like they're showing now. And what we can learn from this is everybody has an opportunity. Grady hit the nail on the head, and I agree with him. What he does for his family is his business. And if he doesn't want his kids to attend a movie, if he doesn't want his kids to go to the park and play with their friends, that's his prerogative as their parent.
That's right.
But for Grady now to say the kid across the street can't compete is wrong, isn't it?
Yeah, and I don't think he's saying that, but yes.
No, he's not. That's why Grady and I are in agreement.
Yeah.
And so whenever you hear science coming out of the governor's office, just put political in front of it, and then you'll understand what we're facing. It's politics. And politicians only bow to what 53% of the people, or what their poll tells them, 53% of the people or more agree with. Right, Jeff?
Seems to be that way a lot.
Rhetorical question. I'm not asking for an answer, but that's how politics works.
Yeah. You're right, man.
And so
I
what we
hear
have
you.
to do is exert the political pressure on the governor's office to just do one thing. Exempt our sports. We're the laughing stock of the nation. This is why we're 50th in everything, because we can't separate out fact from fiction, science from political science. As soon as we do that, we can get back in the game.
So I'm going to go to your premise, Rudy. Let me ask you something on your premise. So do you believe 53% of the nation believes we're the laughing stock? Or are we doing it the right way? Because if you look at
most people, when they hear New Mexico, they don't even hear the new. They just hear Mexico.
Well, but that's not the point.
I was in Nashville, Tennessee, and I had the guy at the Gaylord Center say,
I know.
no, UNM, there's no New Mexico practicing here. And on their sheet, they had University of Mexico.
Yeah, no, I got that. I got that. But in regards to what's going on here, I understand the identity issue we have. But do you believe, and I think I do, but do you believe, because with all the people that we're getting, you look at the comments, you read the paper, do you believe, to your point, that 53% or 52% of the nation would think New Mexico is doing the right thing by being alone on this island, or doing the wrong thing by not allowing what's happening in every other state in the union?
Doing the wrong thing, because you're hurting your kids. You're hurting your youth. Why do you think people can't wait to get out of the state when they're young? They all come back. Most of them come back, but they leave because they think there's something better out there. Let's give them the better.
You and I agree. I'm just trying to point the other side. Thanks, Rudy.
Yeah.
JJ, I mean, that's the question I'm asking. And so it was asked a couple of ways. You know, Grady asked, why does it have to be she's going against it? Why is she doing it for a reason as opposed to this is just our policy? Rudy said if it's political, you know, they're doing what 53% of the country believes. I don't know. Where do you, in our bubble, I would tell you it's probably what, 65-35 that the people that we hear from, correspondents, emails, callers, tweets, that they should be playing. But do you believe the majority of the people think that athletics should be happening in this state like they are everywhere else?
I think so, because I keep going back to it. One size does not fit all in this situation. And that's what I think it comes down to. It's with what is being done, and we've said it over and over and over again. To me, it doesn't make sense to just keep sitting back and saying, well, it's not safe, it's not safe. Well, why is it not safe? Because you can't treat everyone exactly the same in this situation. That's not going to get any of us anywhere if we're not able to adapt to what we each have the ability to do during this time.
Yeah. All right. Jack says, I'm dreading tomorrow, Jeff. New Mexico got all D's and F's on our report card last week, so we really got chewed out by the governor. She gave us 1 week to get our grades up or lose our recess privileges again. Tomorrow, I think the hammer's going to drop. It might. Ron says, she blinded me with science. I keep hearing we are science-driven coming from Santa Fe. Well, I'm still waiting to see the evidence that a little girl jogging around the block without a mask is a COVID super spreader. 505. 246-0610, 888-922-0610. Emails jeff@610knml.com, JJ at 610knml.com. JJ's on the Twitter, _JJ Buck. And you can find us on the Facebook, the OD and the AM, and that's where you can watch the program. That's right, watch it, courtesy of our friends over at ProView Networks. All right, we'll continue this conversation, JJ, because there's a lot of passion in it. And I think, after what happened yesterday with New Mexico State, and now you're staring the reality right down the neck. College basketball game or season starts in 2 weeks. Schedules aren't even out. You're staring the probability. I think it's beyond possibility. Don't you think it's a probability that the Lobos and Aggies are going to play all of their basketball games out of the state?
Yeah, I think that's going to happen if they play.
Yeah, and you are leading the nation in that. And whether you're proud of it or embarrassed by it, I think that's what we're going to. Think about this. Somebody's watching your home. Somebody's watching your business. If a criminal wants to break in, they are going to notice when you come and go. That's why I use IPS, International Protective Service. I know you've seen their vehicles around town. Aaron Jones owns IPS, and he wants to keep you safe. When you can't be there, he's got highly trained, armed officers who can be the eyes protecting your home or your business. On-site guards or 24-hour patrols. The bad guys then cannot predict the good times to target you. Since COVID began, commercial burglaries are on the uptick. Residential burglaries are on the uptick. Protect what's important to you. Protect your family. Give yourself that peace of mind. I've used IPS for a lot of years now. I love seeing the patrol just come by, talk to the officer. I go out of town. They patrol the house. I'll pick up your newspaper, your mail, roll the garbage cans to the curb and back on garbage day. It's worth the phone call. There's no contracts. Talk to Aaron and see what they can do for you. 897-2420. That's the number. 505-897-2420. Or go to ipsglobal.com. International Protective Service is committed to making Albuquerque a safer place to live and do business.
The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages. Responsible for the North-South All-Star Games, statewide Coaches Award Program, and providing multiple professional development opportunities for New Mexico's coaches. Be a great coach by coaching beyond the game.
Shoot. They'll get one off, and it'll count high off the window.
Oh my gosh.
There's a long three.
Boom.
Bang. Martinez will beat the buzzer. Got it to go. His
Fork driving kick. Three's in the air. It's good. Nice pass on the nice block by Hernandez Cropper.
And Brown in the transition. But why not, Steve? Is Corbalan's going to go when he puts it away? And Corbalan wants to put it down. But here comes now Screechers. Brown, you can't leave him alone. Put it down.
Gershon in transition, 3-on-2. Gershon going to go all the way. Oh, Morgan.
Moreno extra pass. And Watson.
with it. Gallegos, and he's going to run all the way. Window, yes! Able to get out of it. How did he find Battle? It's to Cunningham, and it...
I mean, Ramos' hand.
Ramos puts it up, beats the buzzer!
Boy, Jefferson wide open.
Jefferson to Daraji! Into Watson with the jam!
Another steal by Davina Lovato, and here comes Agbaiosi. Lob, two-hand hammer. You knew that was coming. Neck out the lob, tagged by Osi, the one-hand hammer.
Put up. And a drive from Palm. Wants another!
Opportunity here. Martinez shoots, he scores. Cut into it. Had some nice looks at the rim. Win. Inside. They're not going to miss this one. Two-hand hammer from Murillo. Ball's played up. Rodriguez with it. Gonna settle. Looks to the inside. Comes to the far side push. Shot on in. Goal deflected in. No.
Dorian's gonna go all the way. It was blocked by the rim.
Christian McCaffrey, according to Adam Schefter, doubtful for this week. Probably won't play. Brian just sent me a picture of this high school stadium in Midland. It looks nice. I mean, really nice. Is where UTEP's going to play. They're playing UAB this week and maybe the rest of the season. He also said, Jeff, don't you think the governor is partially doing things the way she is because she wants the Health and Human Services cabinet position in Washington? It's got to play a role in this. You said it, her lack of flexibility is over the top. Look, that's been suggested over and over and over. Is she auditioning? Does she want that job in Biden's cabinet? I think she's certainly never denied it, and I think probably she does. Now, is this helping? Is it hurting? I don't know that game, but is that part of it? It's the opening drive, Jeff, JJ, and Micah. JJ, we've heard that often. Is that part of the motivation? I don't know. I want to believe she's doing what she thinks is right, but there is no flexibility right now. So. All right. You ready to go back to phones? Alan, good morning. Alan, you're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Good day, sir.
I enjoy your show very much, and the radio station, not having a TV, I listen to the sports. But I'm very disappointed, and I had a question, sir, but I'm very disappointed when you start talking about COVID. And my question is, are you not aware of what's happening in New Mexico, in the country, and around the world? Are you not aware of that in terms of COVID?
Absolutely aware, yes.
Well, then why are you this way, insisting that we open up?
I'm not
These
insisting.
are difficult decisions,
hold on.
and attacking the governor on this, and you try to be kind about it, I understand. It makes no sense.
Okay, first of all, Alan, I appreciate your perspective. I don't believe either of the hosts have attacked the governor. And again, I just understand where she's coming from. Nobody said we should completely open up.
Yes, but go ahead. That's
Yeah,
my perception. That's all.
didn't say we should completely open up. And really, the conversation is about athletics. And do you believe that student athletes who are in that bubble, who are testing 3 times a week, who are living in that bubble, are a risk to society, posing more of a risk, and in fact, would the student athletes in that controlled environment actually be safer than those of us who are out not in that controlled environment, when in fact it kind of feels like those student athletes are basically doing everything the governor's asking that we do?
Well, yes, that was a question, and let me say respectfully, I think you shouldn't address this topic. You don't really understand it. And your point about all of this, you've seen what's happened in sports across the world and across our country. The bubbles are very difficult. Of course we want sports, and the fans want to see their teams and all of that. And of course, I'm a big Lobo fan and want the players to play. But you're second-guessing what should be and what should be, and we all have opinions, of course. You're second-guessing that undermines the whole health care of our country.
Alan, appreciate your call, and I appreciate your perspective.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, thanks, and I respect. JJ, I respect. Having conversation is not second guessing. Asking the question, why is this state the only state doing things a certain way? I mean, if you feel we're undermining the health care, I apologize. I disagree, and we're not going to stop talking about it.
Yeah, I think because we're talking about it specifically with what collegiate athletics wants to do. And in that situation, it is different than someone wanting to take individual risk. Like, we're not saying open everything up, do what you want to do, because that's not going to work either. This is specifically about this group of student athletes being tested 3 times a week, living within their protocols, isolated in their own wing of a hotel in Las Vegas. Should they be allowed to move forward, whether that hotel is in Las Vegas or if we find a place, it's student housing at New Mexico State where the teams, it's just basketball players, men's and women's, or somewhere in town. Should that group be allowed to move forward within those protocols? Because we know a one-size-fits-all isn't going to work and is not an answer to this, because you can't just say, let them play basketball. And, oh, by the way, I want to go out and do everything I want to do. That's not the conversation we're having.
Yep. But Alan, I respect your opinion. And thanks for calling and thanks for listening. Hoser, good morning. You're up next on the opening drive. Good day, sir.
Good morning. Hey, I understand the athletic part of it as far as what they're doing and being able to be in a bubble to decrease the amount of exposure or infections to hopefully be able to finish. Now, I thought maybe, yes, if the governor was more flexible, that they might be able to do that here. In the same way, maybe they can just, live by the stadium. I don't know what are the, but I think that's the key. The governor not being flexible to that and not being able to just kind of look at some plans and seeing how other states are doing it and being able to at least try to implement or at least to try. But definitely I think what the football team is doing, and as far as the payout and is a lot better than, because they're bringing in revenue. They're bringing in revenue not just for them, but just for the university, like JJ said, for the other sports come the spring. So I think that's important. And I just that's a tough one. I think you just don't have a governor that's flexible on things, and for whatever reason, we don't know, of course, behind the scenes. So we just got to go with it. And Danny Gonzalez has just found a way to make it work, and I'm glad he has.
Yeah, no, Hoser, appreciate it. And Alan's point was, there does need to be flexibility, JJ. The governor is doing things the way she needs to do it, and who are we? Because as he told us, we don't know anything about this, and I might know a little bit more than you think, although I'm not telling you I'm an expert. But certainly with my other position, I have dove into this quite a bit, and protocols and spread rates and everything. I don't know, does that not give you the right to have a conversation about it? I think it does. I don't know, this is the beauty of it, right? You decide what you think is right. Alan decides what he thinks is right. I don't think you or I have we ever attacked the governor? You're on mute.
It's this question specifically about athletics. I'm not sitting here wanting to say, hey, they're playing football, so I'm going to go out gallivanting around the city doing whatever I want to do. I understand that there's a difference. And I hope that we've been able to present it that way, is like having a conversation about athletics, what they want to do, their safety protocols. Them playing football doesn't mean that I just get to go around and do whatever the heck I want. I still have to respect what's going on.
Yeah, and to Alan's point, look, now, have I read emails or have we had callers where it can feel like they're attacking? Yes, we have. Have we also had emails and callers in absolute support of the governor? Yes, we have. That's what this forum's going to be. And with all due respect, Alan, COVID, if we're talking sports, COVID is a part of everything in America, including sports. And we're going to continue to have that conversation. And you know, if that bothers you, because we're not confirming your opinion on it, or look, do I know what's going on in the country? I mean, that's a little insulting. Do I see what's going on? Do I understand it? Pardon me for being a little insulted by that, but don't insult our intelligence on that. Yeah, we're very aware of it. We're living it every single day. We're of the opinion the world doesn't need to come to a halt, and we're watching it move. Not open up. Nobody said completely go nuts and go back to where we were. But we're having conversations about, is there a safe way to do things? That's all in regards to athletics. One more segment to go, 505-246-0610. You can get in there, Jeff or JJ at 610knml.com, and JJ's on the Twitter _JJ Buck. Gentlemen, here come the holidays, and you're thinking of how you're going to take care of everybody on your wish list, everyone in your life. First and foremost, don't forget to take care of you. Can't take care of anyone else unless you take care of yourself first. And if you're not feeling right, if you're dealing with fatigue, low T, erectile dysfunction, you can call NewMail and take care of it. In a year when everything is seemingly out of your control, this is something that you can absolutely control. NewMail, right here in Albuquerque, can help you deal with ED, depression, hair loss. Just make the call. 505-652-1688, 505-652-1688, or visit NewMail at NUMALE.com. You know it's not going to take care of itself. You know you can't ignore it away, and the truth is there's nothing to be ashamed of. Men hit a certain age, and these things are normal. But the beauty of NewMail is you can battle normal. You can feel better. NewMail's number is 505-652-1688. Enjoy the holiday season and give yourself the gift of feeling great. Call NewMail. 505-652-1688 or visit newmail.com and feel better.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rollins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a #1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough. Back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot. It's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Let's see if Melfi can cash it in. He's got some protection. Deep ball. Erickson's open. Touchdown, Monarchs.
Second and 10. Smith looking, and he's going to fire over the middle, and he's got his guy, and it's another big play. Walking away for a touchdown, Tristan Altier.
Going to hand it off to Chavez. Chavez breaking tackles. Look out. Chavez up the sideline. Stays in bounds. Touchdown. Volcanovic.
That replay. I got you. Measurement. I mean, Smith's got a fire on first down, and he's on the outside. There's a lot of room for Brad Thomas. A move, and he's set free. Dance into the end zone. Touchdown. So it goes.
He'll run with it. Stumbling. Gets down into the end zone. And looking to throw it. And he throws it in the end zone. Caught!
First and 10 from the.
All right, wrapping you up on a Wednesday, and look, bottom line is this is nobody loves talking about this, JJ, and I mean, we all come to this radio show and station to get away from it, but I mean, you can't talk about this without. You can't talk about sports without talking about the realities. And this is where we are. And certainly a big story yesterday with New Mexico State. I understand the passion on both sides. I respect the passion on both sides. But we're going to open the forum and allow you to have your opinion. 505-246-0610. Michael, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Good day, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, Michael. What's up?
Yeah, I heard that Alan talk. I don't think he's the one that's misinformed. There's a lot of deception going on. I don't think that the governor's really a bad person, but she's getting misinformation. She's passing the same information to us.
Marty.
This is like government is intruding into area of life. We shouldn't even be talking about politics in the sports station. We should be talking about.
Well, you're making an allegation. So, what information that you have that she doesn't? Like, why is she, when you say she's giving misinformation, that's a little curious to me. What misinformation is she giving?
Like the masks are. Help keep us safe.
That's not misinformation. That's not misinformation.
That is. The opposite is true. They're dangerous. They breed bacteria. Masks. They collect bacteria and they make people unsafe.
And there's absolutely conflicting. And this is where, Mike, you believe what you want to believe. You've got a lot of the majority of experts are saying it does slow the spread of the virus. There are some who are saying it's negative. You got to believe what you want to believe, I imagine. So I mean, you're
about boosting our immune system better. Why don't they talk about that?
Taking vitamins. What do you say?
Why don't they talk about that kind of thing?
Okay. All right, Mike, I want to get two more in. Thanks. JJ, to me, that's not misinformation. I think the majority of health experts, while at first they said you don't wear masks because they didn't have the information they had, and B, there was a shortage of PPE. I think the overwhelming majority say that masks slow the spread of the disease, correct?
Yes.
I mean, if you're going to say it's misinformation, explain that. You can't just drop allegations. Marty, good morning.
Happy
Marty.
sunny Wednesday, Veterans Day.
Yep.
Boy, some of these callers can get under your nerves. I wonder if that one caller would like it if the governor said, no more FedEx, no more UPS, no more home delivery mail. You got to go pick it up at the warehouse, stand in line, wait hours to pick up your mail. Because it's dangerous for the mail carriers to come to your house. I mean, that's to the point of absurd and ridiculous, you know. I just wanted to say that because I had to say that. All right, thanks, Jeff. Have a good day.
All right, Marty, you too. Appreciate the call. John, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. What's up, John?
Well, good morning, gentlemen. Boy, you guys, you cover all ends of the spectrum, which you do a great job at.
Thank
but
you.
I need to get in my Masters pick because I think that starts tomorrow.
Damn right it does.
So I am thinking, I think maybe Justin Thomas will have a good look at. And I think John Rahm. I think they both have, they can get real hot, real streaky, the both of them, and that's what it takes on the Masters to have, especially on a Saturday, to have a blowout round and just get a little separation. But I'm looking forward to watching it, seeing Augusta in the fall.
Me too. John, did you see John Rahm's shot yesterday, skimming it over the water in the hole-in-one?
I read that in the paper. That's amazing. I guess I didn't know that part of the Masters lore, that they would take their time to skip the ball
It's amazing.
over the pond there. And
Find it. You'll enjoy it more than JJ did. He just thought getting it over the water was the good part, not getting it in the hole.
that's why they, for some of us, they have layup zones to the right.
That's right. All right, be well. Enjoy the Masters.
Hey, have a good weekend, and thanks a lot, guys, for all you do, and thanks to all the veterans out there.
Thank you. Appreciate that. All right, let me get this one in, JJ, before we get out of here. Jason sent an email on Wichita State. He said, good morning, OD. I'm not sure if you will hit on this today, but there's soon to be a national story with local implications. That story is Wichita State's Greg Marshall being let go. So why is this a local story? The Shockers may tap a coach from Marshall's coaching tree, who has been ultra successful, and that coach is Chris Jans. With all that's going on, all the hoops to jump through just to practice, wonder if that would factor into Jans leaving earlier than the end of the season. Of the mid-major jobs that would come open in 2021, that's the best job, and he's got familiarity with that job. JJ, look, I thought about this. I thought Aggie fan had enough to worry about, but absolutely, it sounds like Greg Marshall's going to be out at Wichita State, and Jans would be perfect, and they can pay a lot of money.
Yeah, I definitely think that's something that Chris Jans would be very interested in, and it's one where I don't think Wichita State is necessarily feeling that they have to axe everything from the Greg Marshall coaching tree.
Yeah. All right. So that'll be a conversation over the next few days. And Jason, appreciate that. All right. Good conversation today. Whichever side you're on, I appreciate your respect on this. And let's get through it because we have no choice. Jim Rome Show is next. Dan Patrick Show is after that. And then the Sports Bar with Trulio and Carlisle this afternoon at 3. It's more local talk. We'll be back 7 a.m. tomorrow morning on ProView Networks and on the radio. Thanks to Jay Pohl and Alden. Micah, great work. JJ, enjoy the day.
Have fun, y'all.
Be good to each other on Veterans Day. Happy Veterans Day. Thanks to all of you who have served. And please be good to each other. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing. We'll see you tomorrow.